And that was the launch of their basketball program.
Oh, really?
And Mark Few's done a great job, and it's going to be it's an interesting matchup. It's North Carolina's the only team that could beat Gonzaga, which is why I picked Gonzaga to win it all. And I'm normally correct about these matters.
Okay, yes.
But they have the inside length and the outside range to beat Gonzaga. But I'm going to stick with Gonzaga, even though North Carolina is the favorite.
Well, did you watch any girls basketball? Did you see the biggest upset in history? UConn Lady Huskies, their 111-game winning streak ended because of this girl who has great court awareness. Her name is Morgan William. Really love her. Did you see the shot? It's the shot being heard around
country.
country.
Bobby Thompson.
UConn can take this thing to the end, and you don't want to give Mississippi State a chance to get the ball back.
Overtime number 1. Chong on the drive, stumbling, lost it. It's going to roll out of play, and it's back over to Mississippi State.
I'm baffled.
And across midcourt. Dillingham with it. 5 to get off a shot.
Girls basketball is really cool.
William on the drive. Pull up. Got it! She got it!
Oh, yeah, it's
It's like you were there, huh?
yeah.
Weren't you there? But it ended.
Reliving it all over again.
That was a
thrilling
3-year
moment.
winning streak.
Yeah.
That's amazing. But they went on to lose last night.
It's amazing what UConn did.
Well,
That's the amazing part.
Right.
Yeah.
It was 865 days of winning. But no, they went on to lose
it's not like
in
Notre
the
Dame.
final, in the championship game.
It's not like Notre Dame and UCLA's 88-game winning streak. Okay. Let's just separate out the big time versus the
No, it was a
cute
good game.
time.
Come on. They lost 67-55 last night. I watched the entire game. I've never sat down and actually watched an entire girls basketball game.
Well, that's good.
Besides
Maybe
one that I coach, but
maybe that
I could learn something.
No, maybe ESPN will generate more than hash marks because you and your friends watched it.
Yeah. No, me and Peyton and Eli.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Girls basketball.
It's women's basketball, okay?
I don't
Women.
see gender.
that's
As you've
right.
heard me say many times on this show, I don't think there should be the so-called women's and so-called men's basketball, just basketball.
No, men's
Just
and
basketball.
women's championships.
Wonder how many players from South Carolina would be on North Carolina or Gonzaga if there was no gender differentiation.
Maybe one. Number 22 on South Carolina. She may make the men's team.
That's one too high.
That's... Well, she scored, 22 points last night? She was on fire. She was in double digits for
against
rebounds.
a bunch of other people that wouldn't play Division I men's basketball.
Come on. She's a beast. She's, 6'9"? She might really make the men's team. I'm pulling for her in case this gender thing doesn't work out.
All right. Well, we'll. I'd Love to see the Annika Sorenstam test.
Okay.
I'd love to see it. See how it works out.
I remember that little experiment.
Yeah. How'd that go?
A little Swedish sister there. It didn't go well. Hey, your White Sox are playing, and we have a surprise for you at 8:35 this morning.
Yeah. Southpaw's
your
coming in
home
to
opener.
go under the hot lights by me because I want to understand how someone named Southpaw throws right-handed.
Oh.
It's fraud on White Sox fans who are, frankly, too drunk to know the difference. But nonetheless, I do, and that's the important
Are you
thing.
going to the game?
Yeah.
Do you go to every game? Well,
I go to every home opener. Do I go to every game? No, I'm not into that much punishment, but I do go to the home openers.
All right.
Yeah, so I'll be there today.
Are you excited? You're a little excited.
First
Come on.
question for Southpaw.
Yes.
How badly are you guys going to suck this year? It's not. There's not a lot of optimism in Soxdom this year, especially with the Cubs on the other side. But Cubs got off to a good start.
Yes, we did lose
yesterday,
last
losing.
night.
So I'm excited.
4-3. You were happy about that?
By the way, South Carolina. I know you made a big deal about South Carolina winning the women's national championship.
Yeah.
And it's been a great sports year for South Carolina with, the men's team, losing to Gonzaga over the weekend, but making the Final Four. Clemson winning the national championship. I mean, what's not to like about South Carolina? Bill Murray's there. Mm-hmm. Boeing's there now.
Right.
College of Charleston, Citadel. I'm leaving right after the show. But it calls to mind, of course, one of the other reasons that South Carolina is on the map. It's Miss Teen USA 2007.
Recent polls have shown a fifth of Americans can't locate the U.S. on a world map. Why do you think this is?
I personally believe that U.S. Americans are unable to do so because some people out there in our nation don't have maps, and I believe that our education, such as in South Africa and the Iraq, everywhere such as. And I believe that they should, our education over here in the U.S. should help the U.S. Or should help South Africa and should help the Iraq and the Asian countries. So we will be able to build up our future for our children.
Thank you very much.
That's great. That's great.
For the children.
She would have been rooting for South Carolina over the weekend, but she couldn't get in. Nevertheless, she would still make a better U.S. Senator than Lindsey Graham.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
That never gets old for the Iraq, South Africa, for the children. Throws that in at the end. Hey, today it's going to be cooler with some rain. Heavy stuff by this afternoon. Sorry, Dan, I know your game's at 3:05, I believe, but we should have some rain right before the game, maybe a little bit during the game. No. After your rain delay, you'll be fine. A high of 52 degrees. And then tonight, plenty of clouds, a little rain, a low of 45. And tomorrow, cloudy in the morning, and then some clouds and sunshine by the afternoon, and warm, a high near 60 degrees. That's nice. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Good morning to Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Amy, it is a 3:10 start at 35th Bilvac Drive this morning. So you'll have some Sox and Tiger traffic before and after the game, weather permitting. Right now, it's fairly quiet on the expressways and tollways. We're starting to see slight delays on the inbound Ryan, inbound I-57, the inbound Bishop Ford, as usual. No real issues to report elsewhere. The Kennedy Express lanes are open inbound. 190 still looking okay at O'Hare. There is some morning road work on the eastbound Reagan Tollway from the Aurora Toll Plaza to Farnsworth. The right lane is closed there, and it's scheduled to remain closed till noon. So we could see some heavier traffic there once the rush kicks into gear. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
When was the last time you had a full audit of your fire and safety protection plan? Sure, you have all your equipment serviced periodically as required. However, most service technicians, while highly qualified, are focused on the mechanics of their inspections and are not looking at the big picture of a full fire protection plan and whether it still makes sense for you. Your plan was probably effective when it was first implemented, but over the years, changes in your operations and advances in fire and safety technology may have rendered your current plan ineffective. If it's been a long time since someone took a serious look at your fire protection plan, or if you've never had an evaluation audit, give Illinois Fire and Safety a call to have one of their professional auditors come out to visit your facilities. They're on a mission to improve fire and safety in the workplace. Let Illinois Fire and Safety help ensure that your workplace has the most appropriate and effective fire and safety plan and equipment in place. Go to IllinoisFire.com for a complimentary fire and safety audit. That's IllinoisFire.com.
This is a life-changing message for anyone with sleep apnea who is on the go and tired of dragging around a big, bulky home CPAP device. Now there's finally a portable device that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. You can even add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. It's the Transcend Mini CPAP. And right now, you can try Transcend absolutely risk-free for 10 days. So call now, 1-800-400-9121. Transcend is the world's first portable mini CPAP device. It gives you the freedom to sleep in total comfort anywhere you are. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is so small and so light, you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. Enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. To receive your 10-day in-home trial, call minicpap.com now. 1-800-400-9121. Again, that's 1-800-400-9121.
AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, before you read about it on Facebook or Twitter, or hear about it from your friends, find out what today's big stories really mean with me, Sean Hannity, today at 2, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, well, one of the big stories you can find out right now, one of the big stories this week is going to be the confirmation of Neil Gorsuch to the Supreme Court to fill the Scalia vacancy. That will happen. Yes. That will happen.
I heard Mitch McConnell on every Sunday morning talk show, Dan. It's going to happen, all right?
Yeah, what I can tell you is that Neil Gorsuch will be confirmed this week. How that happens really depends on our Democratic friends. How many of them are willing to oppose cloture on a partisan basis to kill a Supreme Court nominee? Never happened before in history, in the whole history of the country. In fact, filibustering judges at all is a rather recent phenomenon started by your next guest, Senator Schumer, after George Bush 43 got elected president. We didn't used to do this. Clarence Thomas was confirmed 52-48, the most controversial Supreme Court nominee in history, and not a single senator said he has to get 60 votes.
Yeah, and just following up on what Majority Leader McConnell had to say there, you had another senator essentially back him up, saying, we need to call out these filibusters for what they are, naked attempts to nullify the results of the last presidential election. There's the idea of filibustering highly qualified nominees for no other reason than to nullify the president's constitutional authority. Senators have a duty to change the filibuster rules. We can't turn our back on the Constitution. We cannot abdicate our oath of office. We have a responsibility to protect and defend our democracy. That includes protecting the neutrality of the courts and preserving the constitutional power of the president to nominate highly qualified people to court vacancies, said conservative Republican Elizabeth Warren from Massachusetts.
Republican. Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Oh, wait. No, she's not.
That was back in 2013. She was talking about Obama. You see what they did?
I see what they did. But we have a third Democratic senator who's going to support Gorsuch, Joe Donnelly from Indiana, so that's good.
There's somebody who wants to keep the seat.
Yeah, so we need 5 more. But is it worth invoking the nuclear option for this?
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. The argument being, it will change the Senate from the world's most deliberative body to just another legislative body obsessed with partisan rancor, and it will tend to the extremes of both parties because it will just be ramrodded through by whichever party is in the majority, and the 60 threshold requires the conservative from Alabama to talk to the liberal of California and come to some kind of consensus on decorum and process and protocol and deliberation and qualification over partisan affiliation and all of those things. And you can tell by my sarcastic tone of voice that I don't buy any of it.
Well, what would you do if you were Mitch McConnell?
I would say exactly what he said. Actually, I wouldn't say what he said. I would have already said, I'm going to exercise the nuclear option so Pagliacci can start with the waterworks because it's going to happen. Period. It's going to happen. And the reason why, if Schumer goes through with this, it's great because it gives McConnell cover to say, I tried to preserve the rules, but Schumer, the Democrats, after exercising the nuclear option on all presidential appointees other than the Supreme Court back in 2013, now they want me to abide a protocol they didn't abide, and they're holding out for the sole purposes of, as McConnell said in that Meet the Press clip, of doing something that's never been done before. You want to talk about protocol and rules and tradition and all those things, filibustering a judicial nominee in order to defeat that nominee. So McConnell's in a good position right now because if they move forward with the filibuster, and I think they're going to have the ability to do so. In other words, Republicans aren't going to get to 60. John Tester from Montana said he's going to oppose.
Really?
Yeah, he's going to oppose Gorsuch.
I had my money on that one.
Nope. And so then it gives McConnell the cover to say, I tried. They made me do this, and so now it's gone. And the great thing is it'll be gone for the next nominee, which is where it's going to be total war.
Right.
That's the real play, is the next nominee. Because Gorsuch is getting through.
I'm so surprised the Democrats are doing this.
It speaks to me. It speaks to how much they feel the need to feed their hard left base. It's not even a base anymore. It's really the entire Democratic Party. Name a centrist Democrat. I dare you. I mean, yeah, I guess you could call the 3 Senate Democrats who bolted from Schumer, Heitkamp, Manchin, and Donnelly centrist Democrats of sorts, but they are, rarely spotted in nature these days. Daniel in Crystal Lake, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning, you guys. Well, it turns out that even though there's a potential for filibuster for all these nominees, that only actually they've been doing it for less than 25, 30 years at most. And it was the Democrats, of course, who started that. So it's pretty recent as far as, actually being done. Not breaking a huge tradition.
Yeah, that's the point that McConnell made. Thanks for the call, Daniel. Yeah, that's exactly the point he made, even going back to Clarence Thomas, which was contentious, but it was 52-48. Also, remember the Democrats, Sheldon Whitehouse and others, complaining about outside money supporting the nomination of Neil Gorsuch, outside dark money supporting Neil Gorsuch with television ads. Turns out outside dark money on the left is...
You got to go dark money.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
I'm Tom here today.
You really go deep. That's just...
I do.
It's kind of disconcerting.
The
Sierra Club is buying and running advertisements as well. Change the nominee, not the rules. The Supreme Court justice needs 60 votes. That's the Sierra Club's message. The interesting thing is the message is mainly targeting Democrats they think could bolt. Joe Donnelly in Indiana, Michael Bennet in Colorado, Angus King in Maine. So you've got some dark money, quote-unquote dark money. It's just...
Dark money.
Advocacy dollars. I mean, this dark money, these conspiracy theories of the left. Advocacy dollars supporting the Gorsuch nomination through the Judicial Crisis Network. And you've got advocacy money opposing and going after targeting Democrat senators who they think are squishy on the issue to hold fast with Senate Minority Leader Pagliacci and oppose his nomination. You know, it's a political process. These are all politicians who nominate and vote to confirm. So talking about taking the politics out of this political process is like taking the wet out of water. It just is. I wish people would just kind of accept that this is politics and it's always going to be politics because it's a political process, and stop, wishing for some bygone era that wasn't political because it's never existed, or pretending that we can perfect our legislative representatives, those that sell you the bill of goods about I'm going to be post-partisan, like the guy who was in the White House for the past 8 years up until January.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
If you did not purchase health insurance coverage during the 2017 open enrollment, I can help you purchase a PPO health insurance plan at any time during the year. This is Tom Marabali, your health insurance advocate and independent producer for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and other health insurance carriers. If you are between the ages of 19 and 64, you are automatically paying for maternity coverage whether you want the coverage or not. If you are a non-smoking 50-year-old male or female living in the city of Chicago, the monthly premium rate for a 100% tax-deductible health savings account PPO plan would be $590 per month. But I can show you how to eliminate the mandatory maternity benefit and lower your monthly premiums down to approximately $240 per month. To see if you qualify or for more information, call me, Tom Marabali, at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. I want to answer some frequently asked home mortgage questions today. First, how much do I need for a down payment? There are 1% down payment programs currently running, as well as programs that will allow you to get the entire down payment as a gift. We also have programs where a family member can co-sign for the mortgage in order to help the borrower qualify. Do I need perfect credit to qualify for a loan? The answer is no. All these programs have restrictions, so please give me a call at 312-896-2110, and I'll be happy to go over them. Another question is, can I take cash out of my house to pay off high-interest credit card debt? The answer is yes, but you need to have enough equity in your house to make it happen. Why Townstone instead of the big banks? Because since 2002, we pride ourselves on beating the big banks on closing costs and interest rates every day. Remember, nobody values your home mortgage business more than Townstone. I guarantee it, and I own the company. So call 312-896-2110 or go to townstone.com.
Listen to the Townstone Financial Show Saturdays at 1 p.m. here on AM 560. Townstone Financial is an Indiana, Wisconsin, Illinois mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Regulating pizza.
Okay, and later Vice President Mike Pence jokes about having dinner with his wife. Oh no, it's so scandalous. But first, let's go into the newsroom and say good morning and welcome back. We really missed you. Here's Mike Scott.
45 degrees outside. Somali pirates this morning steering an Indian commercial vessel toward the coast of Somalia after a hijacking. The ship was en route from Somalia to Dubai. National Weather Service confirming a tornado slammed the community of Breaux Ridge, Louisiana, flipped a mobile home, killing a woman and her 3-year-old daughter. Connecticut Democrat Senator Richard Blumenthal says he is a no on the nomination of Neil Gorsuch to the Supreme Court.
The nominee for this position is one that I take as seriously or more seriously than any that I will vote on as a United States Senator.
However, another Democrat is giving support to Gorsuch. Reporter Richard Jordan reports an Indiana senator says yes.
Indiana's Joe Donnelly issued a statement saying he came to the decision after meeting with Judge Gorsuch, reviewing his record, and following the Senate Judiciary hearing. Donnelly joins fellow Democrats Heidi Heitkamp of North Dakota and Joe Manchin of West Virginia. Currently, Gorsuch will need 60 votes in the Senate to become a Supreme Court justice. Democrats have threatened to filibuster, and Republicans have countered with the nuclear option, which allows leadership to overcome the filibuster with a simple majority of 51 votes.
Survivors in the southern Colombian city of Mocoa desperately searching for loved ones following a devastating flood that's claimed more than 200 lives, 43 children. President Trump's son-in-law is in Iraq, Jared Kushner, in that country, traveling with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. Kushner's been taking an increasing amount of workload in the Trump administration. He's also been tasked with brokering a peace deal between Israel and the Palestinians. 2 are dead, 4 recovering from gunshots that broke out in the city's East Garfield Park neighborhood. Happened in the middle of the day yesterday. A toddler is in serious to critical condition this morning for falling 2 stories from a window or porch in the Park West neighborhood. And the running season is finally here in Chicago. More than 20,000 kicked it off in style yesterday in the 38th annual Bank of America Shamrock Shuffle 8K. Cardinals over the Cubs in a wild prime time baseball opener Sunday night, 4-3, a win for St. Louis. Sox open up the season later this afternoon against the Tigers. Bruins held off the Blackhawks. Bulls beat New Orleans, and the news a service of NTB. Get your 5-quart conventional oil change today. Just $19.99 plus $3 disposal fee. For tires, oil, service, and repairs, National Tire and Battery, that's all you need. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You've heard of living trusts and how they can help protect your assets, but you may not know if a living trust is right for you. Or maybe you have questions about creating your own living trust. The fact is, almost everyone can benefit from a living trust, which can protect your assets from the court system and your loved ones from unnecessary expense and inconvenience. Learn more at a free seminar Thursday, April 6th. Estate planning attorney Robert Zapolis will explain how to create your own living trust, estate planning under the new tax laws, why a will does not avoid probate, and more. Have your estate planning and living trust questions answered absolutely free. Don't miss this important seminar, Thursday, April 6th at 6:30 p.m. at Papa Joe's Restaurant, 145th and LaGrange Road in Orland Park. The seminar is free and a complimentary dinner is served, but you must make a reservation now. Call 708-478-1400. Call 708-478-1400. Again, 708-478-1400.
Are you buying or selling a business or starting a business? Maybe you have legal problems with a business partner or employees, or are just drowning in new regulations. You need the support of a law firm that concentrates in a wide range of business law and tax matters. You need the corporate team at Kelleher & Buckley. Whether you're a local mom and pop shop, middle market business, or a large corporation or franchise, they provide cost-effective legal solutions to help your businesses thrive. The lawyers of Kelleher & Buckley focus on targeted legal advice tailored to meet the specific needs of your business. You deserve competent legal representation from a law firm maintaining a high level of knowledge about the ever-changing laws governing businesses. One that also includes accountants and tax specialists on board to provide your business bottom-line solutions. Kelleher & Buckley, LLC of North Barrington and Chicago is a legal solution provider that also includes estate planning, asset protection, life insurance planning, and litigation. Keep your business on track. Call 847-382-9130 or online at kelleherbuckley.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
5:36. A check of the roads this early morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Kennedy, it's heavy early, Cumberland to Harlem. 21 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound the same. Little heavy approaching O'Hare and westbound 190. Now has slow traffic from River Road to the Tri-State. In Bud Eisenhower, sluggish First Avenue to Des Plaines Avenue. 30 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound fine at 29. In Bud Stevenson, 37 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 18 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 20 minutes from I-80 to the merge. Tollways are good for now, and traffic is a service of Westin Hotels and Resorts. At Westin Hotels and Resorts, they offer running gear to their guests. Why? It's not to help you race to catch your flight. It's so you can pack less and work out more while on the road. Because they know what a runaround travel can be. Westin Workout Gear Lending. Westin, let's rise. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Cooler rain showers today. There's already high water in a lot of areas, especially as you roll through the Salt Creek Basin and through the Des Plaines River. Look out for that water to continue to rise if we get that rain. High 52. Little rain overnight, low 45. Cloudy in the morning. Clouds and sunshine in the afternoon tomorrow, high 58. 48 officially at O'Hare, 44 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Illinois Rising, hosted by Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute. Sunday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, Sean Spicer, or Spicy, as he's known by Melissa McCarthy.
What kind of mood was he in on Friday?
He's always a bit ornery.
Yeah, he was trying to be nice to Jonathan Karl. They had a little exchange. I mean, and he was, I'm trying to be patient here.
Well, one of the things that was nice that Spicer did was afford local reporters the opportunity to ask some questions via Skype. Yeah. One of those local reporters who got to ask Spicer a question was Derek Blakely from CBS here in Chicago, a longtime reporter.
Yes.
And he asked, of course, about the president's level of seriousness when it comes to defunding sanctuary cities like Chicago. Welcoming cities.
Yeah, we're not sanctuary.
Welcoming cities like Chicago that are welcoming except to ICE agents.
Welcome wagon.
So he asked, is he serious? You're talking about millions of dollars for law enforcement and for police that could be taken away if the president maintains his word. So isn't that the wrong way to go about it? Does that mean the president is more focused on capturing persons here illegally than he is on helping local police prevent murders and other violent crimes? And Spicer responded.
Chicago receives about $12 billion a year in law enforcement assistance from the federal government. Would President Trump cut off those funds due to Chicago's sanctuary city status, even though it would greatly hamper Chicago police in their fight against street violence, something the president has repeatedly said troubles him deeply?
Yeah, I think that it's interesting. You talk about street violence, and then would he cut off the funding for sanctuary cities? I think it would be interesting to want to send more money to a city that is allowing people to come into the country who are breaking the law, who in many cases are committing crimes, member of gangs, and so you can't be a sanctuary city and at the same time seem to pretend or express concern about law enforcement or ask for more money when probably a number of the funds that you're using in the first place are going to law enforcement to handle the situation that you've created for yourself.
So is Spicer right? Essentially the argument he's making is you allow this lawlessness to occur, you want us to give you more money even as you're turning a blind eye to a certain percentage of the lawlessness. What kind of sense does that make? Is that a proper response from Spicer in defense of Trump's stated policy? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
Well, what I'm worried about, can we survive without that money? I mean, what's the end game if we don't get that millions of dollars? I mean, are more officers going to have furlough days or... that's a concern of mine.
Well,
because we barely have enough police on the street where I live because they've been reassigned. So that's a problem. And then the police officers that are on the streets on the south and west side, are they effective? I mean, what is changing? What has happened? They come out every week. Oh, the homicide rate's down. Only 9 people were killed. Oh, applause. Great.
Yeah.
Aren't you proud of your city?
It seems like there's 2 questions, right? One is the question of what is the marginal impact of the $12 million. Mm-hmm. That's one question which you're asking. So how can we measure that those $12 million worth of DOJ grants in terms of what they allow Chicago police and prosecutors to do that they wouldn't be able to do without that money? Because, just by saying we're funding something, that's not the same thing as we're generating results. I know this is a disconnect that afflicts the population of this state, but directing money you can't do anything without resources, so stipulated, but just directing more money at a failed model doesn't necessarily improve the outcomes. So, and that's sort of Spicer's point. Part of that failed model is the civilian political leadership telling the police that they can't cooperate with ICE, in addition to all of the other things the political civilian leadership of the city has done to put Chicago police officers back on their heels. So what would be the real world impact of that $12 million? I don't know. And I don't know if anybody knows. I don't know if anybody even tries to bothers to try and measure these things. So that's one question. And then the second question is the underlying point that Spicer made, which is you're creating a situation you want us to throw money at. Why don't you stop creating that situation and perhaps not only would we be more interested in extending resources, those resources would be put to higher, better use. Kevin in Mundelein, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The Chicago Police Department, and I have knowledge of this, I'm a police officer also, they're down at least 2,000 police officers and have been for years. And they haven't changed the hiring process. They make a big to-do about hiring new officers. They put it on TV. That doesn't even cover the amount of police officers that retire there. So by Trump giving them more money, they haven't changed anything they've done with the funds that they receive. They're probably going to some other programs or in the pockets of the crooked politicians of Illinois. And that's my comment. And thanks for taking it.
Thanks for the call, Kevin. Appreciate that. Well, there's an interesting related story in Cranes over the weekend. This is the anti-business Business Journal, because only Chicago would have a paper of record or an outlet of record on business that is anti-capitalism, anti-business. That's what Cranes is. It's only in this city. Why Chicago tourism has more worries than Trump's tweets. Basically, the worry is that Choose Chicago, which is this tourism bureau, is and receives about 40% of its funding from the state, is not currently receiving that funding because of the budget impasse. But there's a larger problem. They focus on throw more of everybody's money into marketing Chicago through this agency. Okay, fine, whatever. But the more interesting thing is, even though tourism rose by 3% last year, 75% of the tourists came from the 9 neighboring states and downstate. Foreign tourists actually shrank almost 4% in 2016. And a lot of that has to do with Chicago's reputation as a lawless criminal paradise.
It's a war zone.
Yeah.
I mean, you go anywhere. You go to Mexico. We were in Europe, almost a year and a half ago? And everyone can say, how could you live in the city? They think we're putting our kids in peril by even living in Chicago. So, yeah, of course it has a bad reputation. And it's not because of Donald Trump's tweets. It's because of the facts. And people know about the homicide rate. Last night, Nightly News led with this Facebook arrest.
Right.
And showed
this
some of the
video.
International
story, right?
International story led the news because they had arrested a 14-year-old boy. Now they're still looking for a 15-year-old and 4 others who allegedly gang raped this girl, who, by the way, goes to Lane Tech High School, and put it, freshman there, and put it on, streamed it live. And 40 people watched it. Not one of them called the police.
Right.
So frustrating. And that is brought out every time this story comes up. And also, too, the family has been getting bullied. They had to move from where they are. They asked for police protection. They didn't get it, so they had to protect themselves and get out of the neighborhood because, Dan, people were coming to their house and harassing them, saying, no, it was not, they say it was consensual, saying, no, that was her boyfriend. I mean, it's unbelievable, this story, and how it has just spiraled out of control.
Well, and the reality in Chicago is that not every neighborhood is a shooting gallery.
No.
But that's the impression you're left with, and I understand why. But even beyond that distinction, I mean, if you go, downtown to the city center, you're going to have a nice time. It's lovely, and there's great restaurants and arts and all those things. But the great fallacy, not just financially but culturally, is, and I say this all the time, and nobody pays attention, but I'll say it anyway, just for my own entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah. That the idea that 90% of the city can burn down around you, and the 10% is not going to be impacted other than in their wallets. That's the big lie that people are deluding themselves with in neighborhoods where you live and where I live. Mike on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, kids. Thanks for taking my call. Rahm Emanuel and his predecessor have already defunded the police. It's not the federal government's fault. We pay taxes for 13,000 police officers, but we only have 8,000 because they did a layoff by attrition. As they retire over the last 10 years, they weren't replaced. They've spent the money on other things like bike lanes and boathouses that we don't need.
Thanks for the call, Mike.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Today it's going to be cool with some rain. 3:10 start to the Sox-Tigers game, Dan. You might have some rain. Little pockets of rain on and off throughout the day. A high of 52
Like all
degrees.
the Sox fans will be so drunk it won't matter.
And then tonight we're going to have a little rain. And tomorrow, clouds in the morning. Otherwise, some sunshine by the afternoon, warm, a high near 60 degrees. Can't beat that. Now let's go into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Good morning. Happy opening day. Kennedy Expressway inbound, stop and go from the River Road toll to Harlem. There's a stall there on the right shoulder near Harlem, and IDOT's there. 24 minutes, so here to downtown. Outbound 22, a little heavy now on westbound 190 from River Road to the Tri-State. The Eisenhower's 31 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, outbound clear. Stevenson, 38 minutes, 355 to the Drive. Ryan, 19 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 23 minutes from I-80 to the merge. Tollways clear. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
When you think about spring, what comes to mind? Baseball, tulips, spring cleaning? How about cleaning up your home? Hi, Amy Jacobson here to tell you about our good friends at CertaPro Painters. Spring has arrived, and it's a great time to focus on your exterior painting. Don't deny how ugly it is. You know, the chipping, peeling eyesore of a front porch. So do what I did and call CertaPro Painters now. 1-800-GO-CERTA or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. They really are the best in the business. They're clean, responsible, talented. They increased our property values. They're such a top-notch company. They've been around for 25 years and counting. So do what I did and experience the CertaPro difference. 1-800-GO-CERTA or CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Hey, size matters. Look to the Italians. They made it happen. The Colosseum, the Vatican, the Tower of Pisa. And Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli Sandwiches. Their signature subs are as big as your forearm, hefty and fully loaded with the highest quality deli meats on artisan bread. Their homemade Italian beef sandwiches are sliced paper thin, using their own family recipe. And if you can't choose between the burgers, wraps, or hand-rolled meatball sandwiches, then get them all. Feed your inner rock star. Eat amongst authentic rock and roll memorabilia while you enjoy the soundtrack of your glory days. Or pick up and go. Either way, Augie's offers fast, fresh, and affordable food, even gluten-free options. Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli, Carroll Stream or West Chicago. Be sure to visit augustinos.com for full menus and directions. And if the party's on at your house, look to Augie's for catering. Don't make it happen with Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker may not stand out on a debate stage that includes Donald Trump and a dozen other GOP presidential candidates, but he's been a standout conservative reform governor with staying power in the birthplace of modern progressivism, who is poised in 2018 to win what seems like his 17th re-election campaign since 2010. Perhaps his fellow cheeseheads, Paul Ryan and Reince Priebus, could learn from Walker's executive example. Walker is understated but unflappable. He makes big bets on core principles. The public sector unions could lay siege to Madison, and Democrat legislators could abdicate to Rockford, Illinois, both of which happened. But Walker was not to be deterred. From the outset, Walker brought jumpy GOP legislative leaders in and held their hands while they collectively implemented reforms that lowered taxes and generated budget surpluses, expanded school choice for Wisconsin students and teachers alike, and turned Pleasant Prairie into a Midwestern center of corporate campuses where more net jobs are created weekly than Illinois has created this century. Perhaps because of his suburban dad, room temperature personality, Walker hasn't received the fanfare he deserves, but he has given us a model of conservative reform governance that should be emulated and scaled nationally.
847-926-0700. This number can bring thousands of extra dollars right to your pocket. The Art House Gallery is back in Chicago. Do you have any jewelry or diamonds, silver, or antiques, paintings, porcelain, Fabergé, high-end pocket or wristlet watches, Rolex, Patek Philippe, IWC, Cartier, Tiffany, or Breitling? If you do, call the Art House Gallery now at 847-926-0700 and get your cash today. Meet in their office in Highland Park or in the privacy of your own home or bank. Call now, 847-926-0700.
We're winding up our AM 560 Signature Bank Business Tour. A few more stops left. This week we're going to be at Big Monster Toys.
I can't wait. Yeah. Did you see the door? It's about 2 stories high, city block wide, and you get to hang on the doorknob and swing back and forth. It's going to be great.
It's going to be heap big fun. I've already reserved the ball pit for an hour after the show. What we're doing is celebrating local businesses like Big Monster Toys who are overcoming the odds and succeeding in spite of the challenges they face in Chicagoland. Think of it as making businesses great again. We're giving back to the business community by broadcasting our show from various locations throughout the region. Does your business have a great success story? If so, we want to hear about it. Got a few more slots left. Go to 560theanswer.com/business and fill out the brief form to tell us about how you and your business are beating the odds to serve your clients and community. We'll select several more businesses as stops on our AM 560 business tour to round it out. And we'll broadcast from your location to share your success with our audience. So go to 560theanswer.com/business to tell us your story. That's 560theanswer.com/business. And we may be stopping at your business this spring on the AM 560 business tour, sponsored by Signature Bank.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Jeff from Basement Flood Protector. Your sump pump is the only thing in your home standing in the way of water rushing in and damaging the personal belongings you care so deeply about. Yet it is often the most overlooked and unappreciated system in your home. Your car has a check engine light, your computer warns against viruses, and your fridge tells you when to change the filter. So why shouldn't a sump pump warn you if there's a risk of losing tens of thousands of dollars in water damage? A pump that just beeps warnings at you is no good if you don't hear it. Over the decades of our business, we have experienced and analyzed every reason why people's homes flood. With today's technology, we believe that flooding is not just unacceptable, it is now completely preventable. That's why today's best practice for flood prevention is to install a protector system with built-in self-testing and notification. We are Basement Flood Protector. Protecting homes from flooding is all we do. I invite you to call today at 800-238-0822 or visit don'tflood.com to learn more and for no-nonsense pricing. That's 800-238-0822 or don'tflood.com. Use the call letters of this station for a 5% discount.
Are you facing foreclosure, been foreclosed upon, in a bad modification, or just stuck in a bad mortgage? Well, we may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've been helping distressed homeowners like you for over 8 years now. We defend foreclosure actions. We bring claims against the banks and the servicers for wrongful foreclosure and other violations of mortgage servicing regulations. And we help people negotiate modifications of their existing mortgages, often including principal reductions. Give us a call. We provide free consultations. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest analysis, counsel, and advice regarding your options.
Hi, this is Rayanne from Lou Bridges & Associates. I am one of the loan modification processors here, and if you are in need of any additional information in regard to a loan modification, please contact the office.
Go to bridgeslaw.net. or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
You're the one that gets it done. The person your friends call to see if you can fix it. Brakes? No biggie. Shocks and struts? Simple and straightforward. The catalytic converter heat shield? Come on. If it has wheels, you can make it go. But not having the right part can bring your project to a screeching halt. Problem solved with MyPartsGarage.com. My Parts Garage is not a big box store that needs to wait to get a part in. My Parts Garage is the warehouse that sells wholesale to you. They own the inventory, so your part is always in stock. But wait, there's more. Like free shipping within 24 hours, in-state next-day delivery, or pick it up today at the warehouse. Plus, the customer service is seriously awesome. So the last thing you need to do is drive fast and furiously to find auto parts. With the average driver in Chicago commuting at least 24 miles per day, people are spending more hours in their car than they do at home. Drivers need you, the mechanic. You need MyPartsGarage.com. Lowest prices guaranteed.
5:57. Check of the roads now. The Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Eastbound Adams Tollway traffic is stop and go from the Tri-State to the Kennedy. Those delays continue to Harlem, where there was a stall. The Kennedy runs 24 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. The Edens is clear. The Eisenhower, 33 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 29. Stevenson, 38 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 5 to 34. Ryan is 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 22 minutes, I-80 to the merge. And traffic is the service of Hum by Verizon. Kids borrowing the car? Now with Hum by Verizon, you can get notifications if they're driving too fast or going places they shouldn't. Find out how to be smarter, safer, and more connected on the road with Hum by Verizon. Visit hum.com today. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues after a full update from Fox News. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, cloudy and cooler with occasional rain followed by a steadier rain. There could be flooding and low-lying in for drainage areas. High today, 52. Cloudy night with periods of rain mainly early tonight, low 45. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently, 47 at O'Hare. It is 44 along Chicago's lakefront. And at 5:59, here are the stories we're following on AM 560, The Answer. 2 are dead, 4 recovering from gunshots on the city's west side. It happened in the East Garfield Park neighborhood. Police say more arrests are planned in the sexual assault of a 15-year-old girl live streamed over Facebook. Police arrested a 14-year-old boy for his part in that attack. A toddler is in serious to critical condition after falling 2 stories from a window or porch in the Park West neighborhood. The news service of Westin Hotels and Resorts. At Westin Hotels and Resorts, they offer running gear to their guests. Why? It's not to help you race or catch your flight. It's so you can pack less and work out more while on the road because they know what a runaround travel can be. Westin Workout Gear Lending. At Westin, let's rise. Cardinals over the Cubs in the opener 4-3. White Sox throw out the first pitch on their opening baseball season against the Tigers later this afternoon. More Dan and Amy coming up after Fox News, WIND, Chicago News Time, 6.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Most Democrats don't support him in the Senate, but that's not going to stop Republicans from putting Neil Gorsuch on the Supreme Court this week. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, there are still some undecideds in the Senate, including independent Angus King, who caucuses with the Democrats and told CBS Face the Nation.
I've met with him. I've read a number of his opinions, done a lot of homework.
Senate Majority Whip John Cornyn says one way or the other, Judge Gorsuch will be confirmed.
I hope the Democrats will provide the 60 votes and we don't have to worry about the change of rules.
Republicans are considering using the so-called nuclear option, forcing a simple majority vote. First, Judge Gorsuch needs to clear a committee vote this morning, and then the full Senate could vote as soon as Friday. Dave.
Rachel, President Trump will host Egypt's president at the White House later this morning. Later this week, he'll sit down with China's president. North Korea's nuclear weapons program will likely be a big topic. The president told the Financial Times, if China is not going to solve it, we will. He has sent his son-in-law, senior advisor Jared Kushner, to Iraq, along with General Joseph Dunford, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. A mom and her 3-year-old daughter are dead in Louisiana, killed when a tornado flipped their mobile home.
Little girl was really close to my kids, to everybody. Everybody loved the little girl. Everybody loved Francine. It's just a tragic accident.
She's a neighbor in Breaux Ridge. There's storm damage in other areas. Thousands lost power, and the threat's still in place for more storms till mid-morning. Chance of storms and tornadoes from Mississippi to South Carolina as well. It's up to 254 dead in Friday night's flooding in Colombia when a violent flow of mud and debris buried homes while people slept.
Water was flowing down, but the level was so high, it kept rising and rising, and it took fridges, animals, everything.
Crews are still digging through all that mud in Colombia looking for more victims. This is Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Do you own or run a business in Illinois that succeeded in this challenging economic environment? If so, we want to hear about it. AM 560's Business Tour 2017, presented by Signature Bank, will be highlighting business success stories. Tell us your story and be a part of a live broadcast of Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy. Find out more and submit your information at 560theanswer.com/business. That's 560theanswer.com/business.
Buying a new tractor? You owe it to yourself to visit your LS Tractor dealer. LS Tractors give you a lot more tractor for less money compared to other brands. For starters, LS Tractor comes with more select features as standard equipment. They make operating your tractor easier with better performance to get more work done quicker. Compare and you'll know who gives you more tractor for your money. LS Tractor. Excel in your field. Learn more at lstractorusa.com.
Visit Abbey Equipment in Streator and get more tractor.
Over 3 million businesses use Indeed.com for hiring, and independent research shows that 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. By creating the easiest, most effective hiring experience, we help businesses find great new people every day. Right now, we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, the week before last, we had our first 100 days of Trump, but that was a little
65 days
a
of
little
Trump.
premature.
There was
right?
a premature first 100 days of Trump.
Yeah, let's see. You got
No,
January.
it was 64.
January
65
20
days.
to February 20 to March 20. That's 60, and then so
See,
we're still
you
not,
do the math. I don't.
Right.
I don't do
well,
math.
We're not going to be quite at 100 days until we turn the calendar to May. But here's the thing. Where do you find your support for Trump a couple of months in? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 646-360-8, turnkey.pro text line. LA Times made their opinion clear over the weekend. This apparently the first in a number of installments under the header, Our Dishonest President. So you can see where this is going.
Oh, yeah.
In a matter of weeks, President Trump has taken dozens of real-life steps that, if they are not reversed, will rip families apart, foul rivers, pollute the air, intensify the calamitous effects of climate change, and profoundly weaken the system of American public education for all.
Oh, my, it's disastrous.
Right, obviously.
Doom and gloom. And they're rolling this out of 4 days because it's that important for them to get their opinion out there.
Yes, they've
That's what
got
they're
a
gonna
lot
be
to
doing.
say.
It's a slow roll.
A equally informed opinion, Tina Fey, over the weekend.
Oh, okay.
She was at a ACLU benefit in New York, and she said a lot of this election was turned by white college-educated women, Amy.
Yes, Dan. That includes you.
Who now would maybe like to forget about this election and go back to watching HGTV.
Oh, damn, our fighting words. Well,
I would want to urge them, you can't look away because it doesn't affect you this minute, but it's going to affect you eventually. again, open 2 windows. Do watch HGTV, but don't turn our attention away from what's happening because we're, the usual, the 100 years of gains we would have made are all being reversed, and we're going to go back to indentured servitude or some such thing. That was Tina Fey. So there's the left's position. Tom Perez. Oh, man. Ready for this guy? This DNC chairman. He's a former cabinet level.
Right, labor secretary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cabinet level official in the Obama administration. He was at a funder over the weekend in Jersey, like for working families for Jersey or some such thing. And he had a lot to say. And again, this is the left 3 months in. Where are you? Here's DNC chairman Tom Perez, newly minted on who won the election.
January 20th was undeniably an important day in this country, but January 21st was far more important. Especially women. March in New York, march in Los Angeles, march in Topeka, march in Paris, marched all over the world and said, Donald Trump, you don't stand for our values. That's what they said. Donald Trump, you didn't win this election.
Donald Trump, you didn't win this election.
Well, because of Russian intervention, or he's just spouting out? Sounded like, and you've got a car, and you've got a car.
January 20 was important, but was historic. January 21, even more important, because that's the day the resistance took over, and then he did the whole Howard Dean. You marched on Washington, Omaha, D.C., blah, 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 whatever. Donald Trump, you didn't win the election. They marched all over the world and said, Donald Trump, you don't stand for our values. You didn't win the election. He's not just a passive observer recounting what other people have said and done. He's endorsing that opinion. And then he went on to say this about Republicans.
Donald Trump wants his name around everything. The Trump Towers, Trump States, Trump Ties.
You go, girl.
But when it came to health care, he didn't want Trump care. So what do we call it? Trump care? Do we call it Ryan care? Well, I'll tell you my idea, because you know what embodies the program? I don't care.
Yeah. So what he said there, that was bleeped because it needs to be, as you know, after he did the whole, what do we call it? Trump care, Ryan care, I don't care. See what he did? He said Republicans don't give a shoot about people.
Oh.
That's what it's all about. Donald Trump didn't win the election, and Republicans don't give a shoot about people. That's your DNC chairman hyperventilating in New Jersey. So you got him, you got Tina Fey, you got the LA Times. So basically,
and you got one more. Don't forget Hill Dog. She spoke at Georgetown.
I'm trying to forget her. Although I'm looking forward to her running again in 2020. I have to tell you.
Well, it's not out of the realm of possibilities.
As this institute has grown, so too has the body of evidence showing that when women participate in peacemaking and peacekeeping, we are all safer and more secure. Studies show,
like
here I go
Meyer,
again, talking about
Benazir
research,
Bhutto.
evidence, and facts.
My ears.
See it? Get it? When she talks about the facts, that was a rip on Trump and. Get it? And by the way, we're better at peacemaking than
this
you.
is the old canard about how if women ruled the world, there would be less violence, and then you go through the list of all the female leaders, and they've all gone to war.
Right. Yeah.
Margaret Thatcher. Oh, the Falkland Islands. Oh, Benazir. Oh no. Oh, Golda Meir. No. Yeah. Oh, Eva Peron.
Peron.
Right, and then more recently, you've had 3 female leaders either impeached or arrested.
Yeah. Well, that was just a misunderstanding in South Korea there, Dan.
And the point is not to say that women can't be heads of state. Of course, the point is to say it's this. We get into the silliness of pretending that
the female ego.
Women won't go to war and men will, or men are corrupt and women aren't. It's just
remember
just
a lot
stop.
of people wanted Hillary Clinton in the office because they wanted a female ego in the office.
Yes,
but she went on to say during the same
her
speech,
understated female ego
that women could be meaner than men. She said that also in that speech.
Mean Girls
on Friday. Yeah. Like don't judge me, prejudge me because you think that since I'm a woman, I'm not meaner than a man because I can be.
Well, here's the thing. So you had those 4 representatives of the radical left, which is redundant these days. It's just that's the Democrat Party. 21st century Democrats, socialist in a hurry. So that's a good representation. And it's easy to point to the hysterics on that side and say, well, I don't want any part of that. What do you want a part of? And how do you think what you hope to be a part of is going? Because we have the President Trump, saying that he will do a deal on Obamacare replacement with the Democrats if he can't do it with the Freedom Caucus and the Republicans. He gave an interview with the Financial Times over the weekend. If we don't get what we want, we'll make a deal with the Democrats, and we will have, in my opinion, not as good a form of health care, but we're going to have a very good form of health care, and it will be a bipartisan form of health care. That is nonsense. That is just utter and complete nonsense. That is Trump blathering. That's just Trump happy talk. That makes absolutely no sense. If we don't get the Freedom Caucus there, that would be fine, Trump said. They're friends of mine. Many of them have already left, and many of them, as you know, have already given us their vote. But when you have 0 Democrats, you need close to 100% of the Republicans. That is correct. The idea that you're going to make a deal with the Democrats and it's going to be a good form of health care, or health insurance, that's really what we're talking about, but as the health insurance as the means to accessing quality care, is absurd. And you can't have it both ways either. So you have this story coming out of his interview at the Financial Times, and then you have Rand Paul, who didn't belong on the debate stage with Donald Trump, so Trump said, but he did spend a day playing golf with him.
Yeah, saw that. That was yesterday, wasn't it?
That's right.
They teed it up, huh?
And Rand Paul said this: we had a great day with the president, played some golf, we talked about a little bit of health care. I continue to be very optimistic that we're getting closer and closer to an agreement on repealing Obamacare. So you see, those two things are mutually exclusive. If you're moving on a repeal and or replace of Obamacare that Rand Paul would be optimistic about, would be excited to support, then that by definition means you're not going to make a deal with Democrats. So which is it? Or is he just, in this kind of, if you buy into the Scott Adams master communicator Trump, he's keeping everybody off balance, and he's trying to soften up the Freedom Caucus to get something approximating the proposal that had been advanced and was not brought to a vote because the votes weren't there.
Why is it not sitting well that Donald Trump wants to work with the Democrats on health care reform?
Because what do the Democrats want? They want single payer. What do the Democrats want? What has Chuck Schumer said? Pagliacci. Stop talking about repealing Obamacare, and then we'll talk to you about how to improve it. So I'm sorry, where's the middle ground? The middle ground, this is the classic, let's find the middle ground, and the middle ground is always moving the flag left. So where are you going to go with Democrats on Obamacare repeal and replace? Where are you going to go? Right? So
Right.
What kind of sense does it make to say I'll cut a deal with the Democrats? What is that going to look like? It won't be any better, obviously, than what was advanced by Trump and Ryan that didn't come to a vote because you didn't have a single Democrat vote on it, and they knew it. So it's going to be worse than the Trump proposal, but it's still going to be a good deal on health care. Those two descriptions are mutually exclusive. This fork-tongued description of what's possible what's possible for Obamacare repeal and replace creates confusion. It muddles issues. I don't think it helps. And I don't think it's providing policy or rhetorical leadership on the policy. So, yeah, there's a problem there. And it also allows things like this to fester. Our friend Adam Kinzinger.
Yes, what?
With an op-ed in the New York Times.
What up?
How the Freedom Caucus is undermining the GOP. Adam Kinzinger. From my perspective, claiming the party was in disarray, this is regarding the failure to bring the Obamacare replacement to a vote. claiming that the party was in disarray is untrue. A vast majority of us were ready to vote yes, but one faction of the party made it impossible, the House Freedom Caucus. It's true that a vast majority were in support of what was proposed. There's no question about that. Interesting name for a group of about 36 members that refuses to let the will of the people advance on the House floor, a group that Mr. Trump himself scolded on Twitter on Thursday for undermining the Republican agenda and our party as a whole. Kinzinger writing. He also suggests something that I had not heard before, so we're going to have to check this out.
Okay, what's that?
He says, for days, camera crews crammed the hallway near my office outside the Freedom Caucus's meeting room as reporters tried to determine whether the members were on board. They were not, and they had new demands to share with the news media. Those demands included rescinding Title I regs, which include protections for people with pre-existing conditions and allowing young adults to stay on their parents' health plans until the age of 26. The president and many of us had promised to protect these two key provisions. The Freedom Caucus fully understood that its last-minute demands would doom the bill. The vote was going to fail. Here's what they do. They move the goalposts, and once that happens, they still refuse to play. We are the Charlie Brown party, hoping that this time things will be different. But time and again, the Freedom Caucus is Lucy, pulling the ball out from under us, letting us take the fall, and smiling to themselves for making a splash. It's a cheap tactic, not a way to govern, and enough is enough. Is Kinzinger right? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Am I right about Trump's conflicted rhetoric? Give us a call or text as well. What Kinzinger discusses there, new demands, and those demands specifically, that has not been what's been reported to this point. The issues, the two additional mandates that the Freedom Caucus wanted repealed, according to its chairman, Mark Meadows, the essential health benefits and the community rating. And I know at least there was some give by Trump on the essential health benefits. But that was what was reported. Now, perhaps Kinzinger's right. I don't know. But this is something that should be fleshed out to see if there is a legitimate claim that the Freedom Caucus is negotiating after the fact, or if this is conjuring up attacks on the Freedom Caucus that are unwarranted.
I thought that Trump made those concessions on Friday, right before they were going to go vote on the bill, which obviously never made it to the House floor because they didn't have the votes.
This is the question. There was reported movement on Freedom Caucus demands, but not enough. And the dozen Obamacare mandates, all of which they wanted to repeal, the argument the Freedom Caucus made is, only 2 or 3 are repealed in what has been proposed by Trump and Ryan. We wanted just 2 more. And we were there. Mark Meadows, continually saying during the process, "I'm a no, trying to get to yes." And he was talking about specific mandates that he wanted on the table for consideration and ultimately for alteration of the proposal in order to get more of the Freedom Caucus members, the requisite number, on board to pass it out of the House. So this is a bit of controversy here now. I got to say, I think you have, remember, Kinzinger was a never Trumper.
Right.
And so now you have President of the United States giving centrists like Kinzinger political cover to write op-eds attacking the Freedom Caucus. That doesn't bode well for the cohesion of the party, something that, to his credit, Paul Ryan has been continuing to stress in the wake of the failure to bring this to a vote a week before last Thursday. So this is I'm a little jumpy, I guess,
about
do you think
he's being
Trump's
respectful?
approach.
Do you think Congressman Kinzinger is being respectful to the Freedom Caucus?
No, I don't think there's much to be gained by the kind of the tired Charlie Brown Lucy metaphors and attacking the Freedom Caucus as some kind of unreasonable stalwart group. The whole idea of doing what's in the best interest of the American people. Well, that's a bit of a matter of opinion, isn't it? And here's the thing that Kinzinger doesn't appreciate, at least per his op-ed, is that you're elected for your judgment. This idea that we elect people to the General Assembly or to Congress or to executive offices so they can be a human weather vane and go wherever 50% plus one of their constituency is at any given moment. Well, that's not how a representative Republican is supposed to work. You're supposed to elect people for their judgment because you have an understanding of where they're coming from, the principles that will inform their policy choices. And if you don't like their judgment calls, then you replace them with somebody else next election. But this the will of the people kind of argument, well, Mark Meadows and other members of the Freedom Caucus, Louis Gohmert and others, well, they have a different perspective on what the will of the people is in terms of what replacement of Obamacare should look like, what our health insurance system in this country should look like, how much more free market it could be. I mean, I think it's much less a philosophical disagreement between most of the members of the House Republican caucus and a strategic one. We think we can get more than you think we can get out of the Senate.
And I don't think anyone on the Freedom Caucus was shaking in their boots over Donald Trump's, threat that he's going to, primary some of them and donate to the campaigns of their challengers.
Well, here's the thing.
And they're like yawn, like, oh, okay.
Well, I mean, what are they supposed to do? I mean, they take it in stride, and that's what you're supposed to do. But here's the thing. Donald Trump has less political leverage when his approval ratings are as low as they are.
Yeah, 37% right now.
And one of the reasons they're as low as they are is because of this lack of clarity coming from the Oval Office and him specifically on matters such as this. It foments discord unnecessarily. Travis in Highland Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I just want to say I think the Freedom Caucus kind of saved the Republican Party here. I think the bill had about a 20% approval rating across the board, and yet it was still trying to be voted on. My understanding is, like you, Dan, Freedom Caucus was holding out for getting the essential health care benefits and community ratings removed, because those were some of the key things that were actually driving up the cost of health care. The plan that was being advanced wasn't really going to address those things. So the Freedom Caucus was using its leverage to try and say, hey, let's really try to bring down the cost of health care by getting rid of some of these regulations. And I think they probably saved the Republican Party by not pushing that bad legislation on everybody.
All right, thanks for the call, Travis. Mike in Union.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, guys. How you doing today?
Morning.
Hey, I continually am just disappointed with Kevin Kinzinger, who never misses an opportunity to just slam another Republican. He's become like the new Mark Kirk. I wouldn't take any validity to anything he's saying. I think you're right about Trump kind of giving him cover. I wish he would just go away.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Bye.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Did you know that if you have mutual funds in your IRA, 401k, or investment accounts, that according to Forbes magazine, you could be paying as much as 3.17% in hidden fees every single year? 3.17% may not sound like much, but over 10 years, it's costing you 32%, whether your fund is up or down. Hi, it's Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group in Chicago and host of the Alpha Wealth Hour on AM 560. This is just one of the reasons I hate mutual funds, and you should too. You may not know this, but you have far more investment options today without the excessive fees. Learn what they are in my free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds. What you learn may shock you. To get your free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds, call 630-519-4742. There's no obligation. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
Hey, spring is here. The birds are chirping. There's bees, and there's also seasonal allergies. And the last thing you need is a pillow you're allergic to. And yes, MyPillow, of course, is hypoallergenic. A good night's sleep is so important for your health. And for April, you'll receive the 50% discount on a MyPillow 4-pack. That 4-pack includes 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows. Now with MyPillow, you can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need regardless of sleep position. And you'll get into deep sleep faster and stay there longer. No more waking up to a stiff neck or headache. Our good friend Mike Lindell manufactures them in the good old US of A. And you can wash and dry your MyPillows. And they have dog beds, too, with the same patented fill. And, of course, you'll get that 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. What do you have to lose? Go to MyPillow.com. Type Amy in the promo code, AMY, to get your 50% off the 4-pack. Or you could call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that this product works. I even recommended it to my mother, and she's been taking it, and she's 89 years old.
Makes me feel good. It really does. I could feel a change in my my well-being. Let's put it that way.
So far, it has helped my irritable bowel. So I'm just praying that it just keeps going, because you don't know. This was a dreadful thing. Dreadful.
Balance of Nature is celebrating its 20th anniversary by providing you the best offer they've ever given. 2 free months of fruits and veggies and free shipping. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Balance of Nature, you guys are awesome. God bless you.
Hey, how would you like to have insurance for your computer network? Something to protect your hardware and software, and more importantly, give you peace of mind. Well, using Turnkey IT for installation and support of your systems is like having insurance for your computer network. For one affordable monthly payment, your company gets a full team of certified technicians who are there for you, working in the background to ensure your systems are up and running. They'll help you over the phone and make house calls to your workplace. And Turnkey IT doesn't wait until there's an emergency call, because they work hard to take preventative measures to keep your network secure, backed up, and running nonstop. Turnkey IT can protect your network with the Turnkey experience, where everything is included. Office 365 hosting, advanced network protection, cloud backup, disaster recovery, and unlimited remote and on-site support. Find out what Turnkey IT can do for your company today. It's easy. Visit turnkey.pro today. That's turnkey.pro.
I'm Trina Webster.
And I'm Dan Webster, founders of Z Quiet. Let me be honest, I snored.
Yeah, he did. Crazy loud.
And I was forced to sleep on the couch most nights.
Dan tried everything, including surgery, to solve his snoring problem.
Nothing worked.
So we turned to experts and created a solution that's a total game changer. A mouthpiece called Z Quiet.
Not just any mouthpiece, one that gently opens the airway where the snoring happens. In fact, it's based on the same technology as treatments costing thousands of dollars.
It allows natural jaw movement so you can talk, breathe normally, and best of all, sleep comfortably without making a sound.
And what's really cool is that it couldn't be easier. Just pop it in before you go to sleep to kick snoring out of bed.
So you can sleep quiet
with Z Quiet.
Z Quiet fits both men and women. Try it risk-free for 30 days for just $9.95. Go to getzquiet.com or text SNORE to 91011. Go to getzquiet.com or text SNORE to 91011.
AM 560.
The Answer.
Got milk? I think you mean got hate.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that a few weeks ago, that milk is, if you drink milk, you're considered racist.
That's not a milk mustache, it's a Hitler mustache. This is the story, you identified some enterprising undergrad at Long Beach State, wrote a piece about this, including citing Mother Jones as a source. There's your first mistake. And one of the reasons that milk is racist, the government promotes it, white milk. Why milk got to be white? Because white people have a higher incidence of osteoporosis than black people. Mm-hmm. So black people don't need it as much. So the government promoting it means they're promoting the health of white people over black people. That's the argument. And
that's not reality. Well, at least not my reality. I don't think it's your reality.
Then,
you drink milk, by the way?
Yeah, I do.
Racist?
Because I'm a white supremacist. Because only white supremacists drink milk.
You knew it.
If you think the argument from that young Long Beach State undergrad is idiotic, then you haven't heard PETA's argument.
Oh, PETA got involved?
Of course, sure. From the people who brought you orca whales are tantamount to slaves, who brought you Holocaust on your plate ad campaign talking about chickens, comparing chickens to Holocaust victims. Yeah, for those people. Did you know that milk has long been a symbol used by white supremacists? Milk is the neo-Nazi drink of choice. It has long been a symbol used by white supremacist groups as a thinly veiled allegory for racial purity. So they've got a video out
Of course they do.
that you can watch to get yourself right with your beverage of choice and stop with your allegorical hate drinks.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I want to let you think about PETA a little bit more
We're
during
gonna
the
have
break.
We're going to have shots of milk. Actually, Matt Walsh will be here, columnist for TheBlaze.com and author of The
talk about
Unholy
that,
Trinity.
Talk about that monster, Mike Pence.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say good morning and welcome back to Mike Scott.
Thank you, Amy. Dan, good morning. 45 degrees. President Trump says the U.S. will restrain North Korea's nuclear weapons program on its own, if necessary. Telling the Financial Times, if China is not going to solve North Korea's problem, we will, end quote. This week, President Trump will host China's president in Florida. Senator Rand Paul says he had a great time golfing with the president. The Kentucky Republican hit the links with Trump on Sunday, afterward tweeting they're getting closer to an agreement on health insurance reform. Supreme Court nominee Neil Gorsuch edging closer to confirmation. The Judiciary Committee in the Senate, they expected to approve his nomination, sending it to the full Senate, where Minority Leader Chuck Schumer opposes the Senate Republicans adopting the so-called nuclear option.
On the most important of decisions, 60 votes is called for. That's how you get a mainstream justice.
Democrats continue to threaten a filibuster over the Gorsuch choice. Morning in Columbia today after a mudslide left more than 250 dead. The National Weather Service confirming a tornado did hit the community of Breaux Bridge, Louisiana, flipping a mobile home, killing a woman and her 3-year-old daughter. Atlanta commuters face a months-long traffic nightmare beginning this morning. Follows a fire last week that caused the collapse of a section of I-85. Repairs will take months. Authorities yesterday allege a homeless man smoking crack started the devastating fire. He faces a first-degree arson charge. 2 are dead and 4 are recovering from gunshots on the city's west side. It happened in the middle of the day yesterday in the East Garfield Park neighborhood. A toddler is in serious to critical condition. Tumbling 2 stories from a window or porch in the Park West neighborhood. It happened yesterday afternoon. Music fans mourning the loss of legendary blues musician Lonnie Brooks, the master dying over the weekend at the age of 83. Chicago sports, opening day baseball for the White Sox, who take on the Tigers at home this afternoon. Last night, Cubs and Cardinals broke the ice on their regular seasons with a 4-3 St. Louis win. The news, a service of Westin Hotels and Resorts. At Westin Hotels and Resorts, they offer running gear to their guests. Why? It's not to help you race to catch your flight. It's so you can pack less and work out more while on the road, because they know what a runaround travel can really be. Westin Workout Gear Lending. Westin, let's rise. 6:34 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager has spent his life fighting for the truth.
My whole life I have exposed the left and truth as a problematic issue. For the left, ideology trumps truth. It has always been the case. It doesn't matter what the issue is. It has infected the sciences insteadly.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you hiring? Join the over 3 million businesses that use Indeed.com for hiring. Post your next job opening on the world's #1 job site, Indeed.com.
6:35. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Northbound Tri-State, it's heavy Harlem to 87th. Then from the Reagan Tiltway to North Avenue. Eastbound Adamsville with jam. The Tri-State onto the Kennedy. For those delays continue to around Harlem. We're looking at a travel time of 26 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 28 and westbound 190 is stop and go from the Kennedy to the Tri-State. Edensburg. Delays are from Waukegan Road onto the Edens, then slow Niles Center to the junction on the Edens. 23 minutes, Lake Cote to Montrose. Outbound 20, the Eisenhower, 43 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 30, Stevenson, 46 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. Ryan is 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic is a service of Staples. HP Savings Month at Staples means big savings on great HP products all month long. Now buy one HP ink, get the second at 40% off, and experience the outstanding print quality of HP ink. Ends 4/8, restrictions apply. See staples.com/HP month. Staples, make more happen. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. A cooler day ahead. Some rain showers are possible and in low-lying areas and along already flooded out streams and some river areas. Could be some more flooding later today. High 52. Plenty of clouds, a bit of rain, low 45 overnight. Currently 46 degrees at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k specialist, whose goal is to protect, preserve, and grow your wealth. Saturday mornings at 7.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy, all the talk has been about Trump being some kind of Manchurian candidate for the Russians. We've elected this person who's compromised by the Russians. In point of fact, we've missed it all along. We should have been focused on Vice President Pence as a Manchurian candidate for 18th century barbarism against women in particular. But
right.
This man is a monster. We started to find out last night, and the evidence is continuing to grow, Amy.
Well, because they did a profile on Second Lady Karen Pence, and it included that tidbit from years back that said the vice president never eats alone with a woman other than his wife. So he doesn't want an appearance of impropriety. He's an honest, dedicated family man. And somehow that is bad. That is oppressive. Well, he was in Ohio on Saturday and joked around about his wife having dinner plans, and just see if it fell short on the crowd.
Speaking of my wife, Karen, she's really sorry she couldn't be with us today. She already had dinner plans.
Did it?
All kidding aside.
You know why it's not funny?
Why?
Because this is not a funny subject.
Okay.
The horrors of his efforts to stop women from advancing by not giving them access to
him.
Well, to his dining time. Look, it gets worse.
Oh no.
Washington Post op-ed over the weekend. Mary Vaught.
Oh please.
She served as press secretary of the House Republican Conference under then Chairman Mike Pence when he was a congressman from Indiana. I worked for Mike Pence. Being a woman never held me back.
Good.
My work product determined my success, not private dinners with the congressman. While looking back on my time in the office of the man who is now vice president, I don't consider it to be a period of missed opportunities. So now you've got that he won't have dinner with women who aren't his wife without her present. And now, listen to this, he's judging people who work for him based on their work product.
Oh no, say it isn't so.
This man is a barbarian.
How are we going to get ahead? He's the misogynistic behavior.
The savagery doesn't end there. Ms. Vaught goes on to document that the fact of the matter is it's not as though then Congressman Pence was out having private dinners with male staffers and I was excluded. He wasn't having private dinners much at all. He had children at home, so as often as possible after voting in his daily duties, he'd race home to share a meal with the people that mattered most to him, his family. You've got not having dinners or worse with women who aren't his wife. Loving and respecting his wife, strike one.
Mm-hmm.
Strike two, judging people based on their work product for the purposes of advancement.
What about their looks? You got to factor that in.
That's strike two. And strike three.
Yes.
He's not out carousing, having a time with the guys. He's going home to spend time with his children and his family after he's done voting and with his daily schedule. I mean, I don't think we have much choice other than to move to impeach Mike Pence as Vice President of the United States. For more on this and another important perspective, we're pleased to be joined by our friend Matt Walsh. He's a columnist for The Blaze, theblaze.com. He's also the author of the new book, The Unholy Trinity, Blocking the Left's Assault on Life, Marriage, and Gender. Matt, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So read your piece last week in The Blaze, which was quite entertaining, the things that married people need to understand about marriage. And why don't you make the case, contra to the case I've made, why Mike Pence shouldn't be impeached for his transgressions against 21st century cultural norms?
Well, I don't know. You kind of convinced me. I think maybe not a psychopath. Yeah, right. You make a compelling case. But you know what? I think the problem is that we have a lot of people in our culture who just have no concept of what it means to be in a committed relationship, particularly a marriage, a healthy committed relationship, because they've never been in one and they've never seen one. That's one of the things we have to keep in mind about. I think this outrage was driven, as usual, by millennials, which is my generation, I'll admit. And the thing about my generation is that I'm an exception to this because my parents are great. But for the most part, we've never encountered a marriage that actually worked because we grew up in broken homes. And, if you turn on the TV, you're not going to see very many examples. So when we see or when we hear someone who's been married for 20 or 30 years or however long they've been married describe what goes into a marriage, even with really basic things like this, we are scandalized by it because we had no idea that marriage there are things like you have to put up things like boundaries. We had no idea, so it scandalizes us. That's what's kind of interesting about it.
But how can some women are saying it's misogynistic behavior that he's somehow degrading women by just being faithful to his wife. It makes no sense.
Yeah. I guess men can't really win because if you're a married man and you're I assume if you're going out with the intern and the secretary, then I assume you're a misogynist for that. But if you don't, you're also a misogynist. So no matter what you do, you're a misogynist. That's one of the things we have to remember about men, according to feminists anyway. No matter what we do, we're misogynists. So that's why it doesn't matter what they say because we lose either way. Well, I would think that this is someone respecting it, but I think what happens is when a man respects his wife, to a lot of people that reeks too much of old patriarchal norms, and so they don't like it for that reason. Anything that smells of tradition, they don't like, I think.
Well, I got to admit, even though I fashion myself as a conservative, the left has got me on this one because, I too don't want to provide consideration for anyone other than myself. So I'm attracted by their argument, but I wonder what road that leads us down, in your opinion, Matt.
Yeah, well, it certainly doesn't work in a marriage. This is a problem, in my opinion, in liberalism. It's kind of the worship of the self. So everything is relative to your own desires and what you want, and you get to bend the laws and the rules to yourself. Even like scientific laws, like the laws of biology, you get to bend to your whim, and you can be a woman even if you're a man if you want to be. So that certainly doesn't work in a function. I think functioning that way just in general doesn't work. It doesn't help you be a functioning human being. But especially in a marriage where you're bound to this other person and you're supposed to be constantly, really trying to serve them. And so I think it's just a philosophy that doesn't translate well into marriages or into life in general.
Do you think Vice President Pence and his wife Karen should sit down and promote this fidelity issue, this commitment issue that they have with their marriage?
You know what?
Because I would love to see it.
Yeah, I guess vice presidents and the vice presidential wives always take on some issue that's going to be like their pet issue, and because they have nothing else to do, I guess. When you don't have a lot else to do when you're vice president. Let's face it. So yeah, I think this would be great for them. Honestly, this could be their issue. It's obviously an issue that's important. I think it's kind of sad that we're at a point in society where we need the vice president to explain to us why you shouldn't go on dinner dates with other women.
You think?
But yeah, apparently we need that. We need that authoritative voice. So
Well, we did
for the next 4 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we did have. Dick Cheney was, not out carousing, obviously, but
No.
we did have, former Vice President Al Gore. He likes to get touchy-feely with hotel masseuses. You've got their vice president nominees of lore, like John Edwards.
Oh, please.
So
arms.
maybe that does create some confusion in the body politic, I suppose. But I want to go to your book to get off. I mean, it's incredible. I agree with you. It's incredible that we're actually having this discussion about Mike Pence and his Leave It to Beaver lifestyle, as this is something that is a threat to the Western civilization. It seems like quite the opposite, which is the thesis of your book, The Unholy Trinity, Blocking the Left's Assault on Life, Marriage, and Gender. Connect the dots for us. The assault on life, marriage, and gender, they're all connected, aren't they?
Yeah, this is about redefining, what the left has been doing over the last 40 or 50 years is going through and redefining these essential pillars of human civilization. So they began by redefining human life. They made life itself relative, so that the life of an unborn child is relative to how his mother feels about it, how convenient that life is to those around it. So if the life is not convenient to those around it, then it's no longer a human life and it could be killed and thrown in the garbage. And then they moved on from there, a few decades later to redefining marriage and completely stripping from marriage the procreative aspect of it, which was one of the defining characteristics of it. And then I think a lot of conservatives thought that they'd sort of be done there and that would be it because they hit life and marriage. What else is there to do? But then they moved on to biological sex and gender, saying that we're even going to redefine that. And now this is a fluid situation, and your sex has absolutely nothing to do with your reproductive organs, your DNA, your genetics, your chromosomes. And as they've been going through, on this campaign of redefinition, they've encountered along the way, very little pushback, decreasingly so. To the point where they got to this final stage, a stage that, hey, by the way, 10 years ago, nobody would have thought that we'd be here, where we're actually arguing about whether, what defines a man and a woman. But when they got here, it was a pretty easy and simple process for them. And now this is the mainstream point of view, even in our schools and media, academia. This is the mainstream point of view. So I do think, of course, they're all linked together. These are once this process is complete, they've essentially defeated objective reality and objective truth, which is the ultimate goal of liberalism.
Yeah,
defeat any concept of objective truth, and I think that they've almost succeeded in doing that.
And all those silly rightists as well as conservatives who thought, well, we could just erase some of the lines and then redraw them. Once you start erasing lines, you don't get to redraw them. Matt Walsh, columnist for theblaze.com, the book, The Unholy Trinity, Blocking the Left's Assault on Life, Marriage, and Gender. Matt, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks a lot.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up next, regulating pizza. Oh, no. But first, here is your forecast. It's going to be cooler with rain. Game time today with your season opener, White Sox versus the Tigers at 3:10. The temperature is going to be 49 degrees. We can't rule out a passing shower. High today at 52. And then tomorrow we're going to have clouds in the morning. Otherwise, some partly sunny skies by the afternoon. That'll be nice. And it's going to be warmer, a high near 60 degrees. Let's get the travel times. Are they high? Here's Jim Talamonte, who joins us in our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Times are rising, Amy. Good morning. Southside Garfield is closed. Between Damon and Hamilton, there's a house fire there. The Edens is 26 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. Kennedy, 35 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 30. The Eisenhower, 46 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 33. The Stevenson is now 51 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 38. Ryan, 24 minutes. 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State delays are from 95th to 75th. Plainfield Road to the Hinsdale Oasis, then it's jammed. And the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve where there's a crash on the left shoulder. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
I'm Keith Peters in for Lou Dobbs. Key economic reports are on tap today. Wall Street eyeing consumer spending. Those stories next.
Hi, folks. Are you an individual or business who owes at least $10,000 to the IRS? Are your wages being garnished? Has your bank account been levied? Do you have years of unfiled tax returns and you're losing sleep at night worrying about it all? Rapid Resolution Tax Group is a team of tax attorneys, enrolled agents, and tax professionals who have helped thousands of people with problems just like yours. They're accredited with a Better Business Bureau and they guarantee same-day contact with the IRS. If you qualify, Rapid Resolution Tax Group can work towards settling your tax debt for less, removing penalties and fees, and stopping levies and garnishments. They're not intimidated by the IRS, and they promise not to let the IRS intimidate you. Call the professionals at Rapid Resolution Tax Group. They're at 800-601-2929. 800-601-2929. That's 800-601-2929.
Wall Street ramps up a new week of trading this morning, but with an eye over its shoulder on a Commerce Department report Friday, which showed during February consumers spent at their weakest pace in 6 months. That, coupled with a spike in inflation, may impact trading during this first week of April. In Washington today, the Institute for Supply Management will release its March Manufacturing Index, and the Commerce Department updates construction spending figures. In Detroit, automakers will release March vehicle sales. Not loving this, the jobs section of McDonald's Canadian subsidiary has been hacked. Company officials in Toronto say personal information of about 95,000 job applicants may have been compromised. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. I'm Keith Peters for the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do on this show, with the story you've been hearing Mike Scott report about U of I demanding more funding in Illinois. Check out our Follow the Logic segment where University of Illinois at Chicago students are interviewed about higher ed funding in this state, what they think runs into what turns out to be true. Very illustrative. And it turns out those undergrads follow the logic better than the Illinois General Assembly. But it's worth checking out. Follow the Logic, the U of I college funding segment at upstream-ideas.com, in addition to podcasts of our Illinois Rising program previewing tomorrow's elections that we did yesterday on Sunday's program. It's all at upstream-ideas.com. Go sign up today.
A good parking lot is essential to a good building and a good business.
This is Kevin Berquist. My company is SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. Great parking lots. The name says it all. We make your parking lot great. We are an industry leader in seal coating. You can trust our company to do the work for your company. We have the same traditional values as you. We use a process and application that makes sure you get a great job that lasts a long time. I guarantee you'll have a good experience. Go to our website, greatparkinglots.com. Check it out, greatparkinglots.com.
Go to greatparkinglots.com. Schedule a free inspection and get a quote to make your parking lot a great parking lot. Save the expense. Fix, don't replace. Contact SKC Construction now for commercial parking lot seal coating and maintenance. SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. GreatParkingLots.com. Harvey owns a building and wants to save money by making his heating and cooling system more energy efficient.
Yes.
But Harvey's afraid of the cost and if he can get a return on his investment.
I am indeed.
Plus, he's nervous about disrupting the businesses that rent space in his building. Harvey doesn't know what to do with an HVAC system that's seen better days. The Air Comfort problem solvers to the rescue. Working as a team, the Air Comfort professionals find simple solutions that make a huge impact on building efficiency and operating costs with minimal or no disruptions to building operations. HVAC upgrades and retrofits from Air Comfort can save thousands of dollars per year. They save energy, reduce maintenance, and eliminate downtime. And buildings with better energy ratings command higher rents and selling prices and make tenants happy. Get real solutions from the Air Comfort team of problem solvers. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com and start saving money today. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
Hold on. It's a business reality. More B2B leads equals more sales, and the Sales Prospecting Group is ready to help you take your business to the next level. The Sales Prospecting Group is a local Chicagoland company that has helped hundreds of companies nationwide to secure new business by getting them in the door. Recently, in just 1 week, they set 24 sales appointments with the industrial industry and another 18 sales appointments within the software industry. One client in the medical products industry received over 1,200 sales leads since mid-January. No contract labor or offshore callers. Their in-house staff of business account executives are highly trained, professional, and effective. So get a custom campaign specifically for your business. They know how to navigate complex corporate hierarchies to get you to the right people and get you connected with them. The Sales Prospecting Group is specializing exclusively on B2B sales. Call the Sales Prospecting Group now to learn how they can help your business grow in 2017. The number is 630-701-9052. That's 630-701-9052. Prospecting Group, it's time to grow.
How would you like to lose 10, 15, even 25 pounds in the next 30 days? Well, I'm about to tell you how you can do it for free right now. You've probably heard of Beachbody or seen their workout DVDs on TV like P90X, Insanity, and 21 Day Fix. Well, they just launched a beta trial of their new online video service called Beachbody On Demand, and they're inviting you to use it for free for 30 days. Now, here's the catch. In return, all they want is for you to let them know what you think of their new on-demand service so they can make it the best fitness and weight loss site ever created. Just text the word STREAM to 303030, and you can do 30 days of P90X, Insanity, Brazil Butt Lift, or one of 500 other Beachbody workouts for free. And that means you can lose 10, 20, even 30 pounds without paying a dime. Just text STREAM to 303030. That's STREAM to 303030 to get started for free right now.
Message and data rates may apply. Membership fees apply after 30-day free trial. Cancel anytime.
When you think about spring, what comes to mind? Baseball, tulips, spring cleaning? How about cleaning up your home? Hi, Amy Jacobson here to tell you about our good friends at CertaPro Painters. Spring has arrived, and it's a great time to focus on your exterior painting. Don't deny how ugly it is. You know, the chipping, peeling eyesore of a front porch. So do what I did and call CertaPro Painters now. 1-800-GO-CERTA or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. They really are the best in the business. They're clean, responsible, talented. They increased our property values. They're such a top-notch company. They've been around for 25 years and counting. So do what I did and experience the CertaPro difference. 1-800-GO-CERTA or CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
AM 560, The Answer.
So we were talking to Matt Walsh, and we were talking about redefining life, marriage, and gender, and
Yes.
redefining gender completes it, right? That completes the left's takeover of the language and their alternate reality they're creating. No, how about rivers are people too?
Come on.
I'm not kidding. In New Zealand, the Wananui River was granted the same legal rights as a human being. The reason the Maori
Was it able to vote? Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I think it's maybe the next election.
Can the person drive? Do they get a driver's license?
The Maori tribe considers the river sacred and quote-unquote ancestor.
Uh-huh.
Religion was also why an Indian court declared the Ganges River, considered sacred in the Hindu faith, to be a person for the purposes of the law. This is like funny. Oh, how goofy, how silly is that? You know where this is going, and this is where the environmental goofs want this to go. It's to eliminate private property rights. That's where this is actually going. If they're a person for the purposes of the law, then they can't be owned by an actual human being. So we're going to redefine nature and all that's in it to be persons on par with human beings, too. That's the next frontier for the left. Just thought I'd give you the heads up.
Well, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Our latest property tax analysis, Kane County, 707.
And later, a White Sox surprise. But first, into the newsroom we go. We welcome back the one and only Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, we're watching developments in the city of Chicago this morning where 2 are dead, 4 wounded in a West Side shooting. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. There's no drama around today's vote. It's just in committee.
But it's what happens later this week that could be precedent-setting at the Senate, confirming Neil Gorsuch to the Supreme Court. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Republicans may change Senate rules to force a simple majority vote, assuring the confirmation of Judge Gorsuch by using the nuclear option designed to get rid of the filibuster.
Mitch calls it a filibuster. We call it the 60-vote standard.
Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer on NBC's Meet the Press. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell told Fox News Sunday Judge Gorsuch will be confirmed by the end of the week.
The way in which that occurs is in the hands of the Democratic minority.
Leader McConnell says even with the nuclear option, the filibuster could still be used for legislation in the future. Dave.
Rachel, President Trump was up early tweeting, repeating his surveillance claims, writing, spied on before nomination. The real story. And he questioned Clinton's campaign chairman John Podesta's ties to Russia, asking, was Podesta's brother paid big money for sanctions to be lifted? Did Hillary know? The President Trump will host Egypt's president at the White House later this morning. The president's son-in-law has gone to Iraq. Fox's Jessica Gallagher live in our Middle East bureau.
Dave, Fox News has confirmed that Jared Kushner was invited to Iraq by Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman General Joseph Dunford. Kushner reportedly wanting to see Iraq for himself and show support for Baghdad as forces try to retake Mosul from ISIS amid a dire humanitarian situation. Kushner has no diplomatic or government experience. President Trump has tasked him with trying to reach a peace deal between the Israelis and Palestinians here. Dave.
Jessica, they're cleaning up storm damage in Louisiana. The worst of it when a tornado flipped a mobile home, leaving a mother and 3-year-old girl dead inside.
The love of my life, my daughter, everything.
Hedrick Alexander found their bodies in the rubble when he went home. Thousands lost power in Louisiana, and more storms could hit today from there to South Carolina. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
44 degrees, cloudy skies. Winds are out of the east at 6 at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. 2 are dead, 4 recovering from gunshots on the city's west side. It happened in the East Garfield Park neighborhood in the middle of the day yesterday, as police say someone fired from a vehicle in the 3500 block of West Van Buren. More arrests planned in the sexual assault of a 15-year-old girl that was live streamed over Facebook. Police arrest a 14-year-old boy for his part in that attack. They add a second arrest warrant has been issued for a 15-year-old. A toddler in serious to critical condition after tumbling 2 stories from a window or a porch in the Park West neighborhood. Happened yesterday afternoon at a building in the 500 block of West Wrightwood. Authorities investigating the stabbing death of a man found in a Gresham Alley over the weekend. The unidentified man was found lying face down near the corner of West 85th and South Peoria Streets early yesterday morning. Election Day is about more than just your new mayor or city council member. Voters across the state will also decide hundreds of tax increases when they go to the polls tomorrow. But despite the important issues on local ballots, local election leaders do not expect many voters to actually show up. Polls are open from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow. Chicago sports. Cardinals topped the Cubs 4-3 in a wild primetime opener for the regular baseball season last night. Sox opened the season later this afternoon versus the Tigers. First of a 3-game set, Jose Quintana on the mound. Bruins held off the Blackhawks 3-2 on Sunday, but because of a loss over the weekend by Minnesota at Nashville, Blackhawks now assured of home ice throughout the first 3 playoff rounds. Jimmy Butler, 39. Bulls trying to sustain that playoff push with a 117-110 win. The news service of Staples, filing your own taxes this year. Staples helps you be accountable with everything you need for tax season. For less, storage boxes, filing supplies, software like QuickBooks and TurboTax. And right now, get up to $10 off when you buy TurboTax, in-store only. Ends 4/15/17. Staples, make more happen. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity sees troubling actions from the Justice Department.
All evidence indicates that, in fact, Obama administration and officials surrounding the president, what did the president know? When did he know it? This is beyond troubling here. If they can tap into the president or the opposition candidate in the middle of a presidential election, nobody's information is safe.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Buying a new tractor? You owe it to yourself to visit your LS Tractor dealer. LS Tractors give you a lot more tractor for less money compared to other brands. For starters, LS Tractor comes with more select features as standard equipment. They make operating your tractor easier with better performance to get more work done quicker. Compare and you'll know who gives you more tractor for your money. LS Tractor. Excel in your field. Learn more at lstractorusa.com.
Visit Abbey Equipment in Streator and get more tractor.
5 times more hires are made through Indeed.com than any other job site, according to independent research. Imagine a lottery that had 5 times more winners, or a Sunday with 5 times more touchdowns. When you're hiring, it makes 5 times more sense to use Indeed. Right now, we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
7:06. Let's check the roads this morning. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Eden's delays start around Oakton. 28 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 22. Inbound Kennedy, heavy approaching Cumberland. There's a crash on the ramp to southbound Cumberland. And delays continue to Lawrence and again from Irving Park on in. 41 minutes O'Hare to downtown outbound 34. Inbound Eisenhower, 49 minutes Thorndale to the post office outbound 33. Stevenson, 50 minutes 355 to the drive, 40 from the tri-state outbound 36 minutes to 355. Ryan is 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 20 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, pretty light. Northbound tri-state. Traffic hits the brakes around 95th to 75th. Plainfield Road to the Hinsdale Oasis from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. There's a crash on the left shoulder. Other tollways are okay. Northbound Lakeshore Drive at the Oak Street curve. With a crash in the right lane. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Occasional rain followed by a steadier rain, which could cause flooding in low-lying and poor drainage areas. We'll have a high today 52. Periods of rain mainly early tonight, low 45. Clouds in the morning, then some sun in the afternoon tomorrow, high 58. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
44 now at O'Hare. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Military Mortgage Talk with host Tony Gatliff. Sunday mornings at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Tomorrow's Election Day. Did you know? Are you voting? You voting tomorrow? And if so, why? Because we know municipal elections, 15, 20% turnout at the most, generally speaking. So are you going to vote tomorrow? And let's do open mic. Wherever you live, why are you voting and what are you voting for or against? 312-642-5600. Turnkey.pro answer line.
What's the biggest election you think? I mean, all elections are important, but what contest or seat is very important and vital this time around?
I mean, there's so many. I mean, look, this is an issue that cuts across races for particular offices as well as referendum campaigns. Do you value your home value or not? Because if you don't vote tomorrow, and if you don't vote against policies that eliminate your home equity, then you're saying that for most of you, I assume, the biggest investment in your life means nothing to you. I mean, that's what it has to be what you're saying. It is the default position you are taking, whether you say you believe that or not. It's not what you say, it's how you behave. And if you don't vote, or if you vote for the same old at the school board level, or at the mayoral level, or at the referendum level, then that's what you're saying. I hate to break it to you. But we've broken down the numbers by region in Chicago and the surrounding areas, Cook and the Collars. And this is the story that repeats itself over and over again. Let me just, before we get to property taxes in Kane County, because that's our county that we're focusing on today, a region we're focusing on today. Let me just give you a couple examples. I mean, these people who think they can run for office because you know why? Because you're not paying attention. And because they've rationalized their conduct and record to themselves, so they figure they can rationalize it to you for the 1 in 5 of you who will show up, or 1 in 6. Palatine-Schaumburg District 211 school board candidate, who's been previously elected, by the way, Edward Young of Inverness, owes more than $140,000 in back taxes. That's according to the Cook County Recorder of Deeds.
How is he not in jail?
Good question. I don't know. He owes $133,566 to the IRS and $8,282 to the Illinois State Department of Revenue for unpaid federal and state income taxes dating back to 1992. Young failed to pay federal taxes in 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh, it's just an oversight.
He failed to pay state taxes in 92 and from 2003 to 2010.
Again, how is he not in jail?
Well,
It's Wesley Snipe him. Get him in jail.
Okay. I mean,
just know it's not millions, but still.
The fiduciary. This guy wants fiduciary duty over your schools at Palatine Schaumburg 211.
And his own house isn't in order.
You want to pay attention to Mr. Young to make sure Mr. Young of Inverness doesn't get back on the board with a handle on your purse strings there at the school?
You think he'd want to lay low like J-Lo, if he owes that much money and not try and run for a political position? Ooh.
Bankruptcy foreclosure doesn't stop Knight from seeking Wakanda mayor's post. We talked to the outgoing mayor of Wakanda last week, Frank Bard, about the war memorial there, but 9/11 memorial. How about this? The mayoral candidate in Wakanda, one of them, Lincoln Knight, has filed for bankruptcy, has had his home foreclosed upon, and has paid his property taxes late in 10 of the last 11 years. He's running on a platform to, quote, control the cost of core government services. His property, he's in 2012, he filed for bankruptcy in U.S. Bankruptcy Court, and he's also had his property go up for tax sale in 2013, as well as on 5 other occasions, 05, 08, 10, 12, and 14, after he failed to pay his property taxes on time. Since joining the Wakanda Village Board of Trustees, Knight has paid property taxes on time just once in 11 tries, paying $2,394 in late fees to Lake County. And he wants to control the purse strings at the Village of Wakanda. I'm sure, hard times for a decade. Really? I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Maggie Crotty, who is a state senator for all too long, she's the supervisor in Bremen Township. She's collecting 3 paychecks totaling $123,000 a year, 2 government pensions for her time at the Cook County payroll and her 16 years in the Illinois legislature, plus her salary as supervisor of Bremen Township, where she's reigned since 05. She, among her employees, her son's mother-in-law earns $47,000 as a senior director. Her longtime campaign manager is on the payroll. Her younger brother is on the payroll. Boss Crotty of Bremen Township. Care about that? Nope, I'm sure you don't. Don't pay attention. It's only your home value, right? Dick Durbin. Now, this is a race I'm involved in, as I've disclosed before on this show. The mayor of Orland Park, Dan McLaughlin. Right now, I know because of the polling I've done.
Yeah.
Dan McLaughlin is still leading. It's a close race, but McLaughlin is leading. This is the guy who increased his salary as mayor by 375% from $40,000 to $150,000, more than the mayors of Moscow, Paris, Cleveland, Sacramento. This was for the purposes of increasing his pension from $30,000 to $110,000 after he serves one more term if he's reelected. So you're going to give him a $2 million gift for being mayor for 2 decades. Oh, by the way, the levy of the last decade increased by 56% at the village and library level. By the way, the police and pension funds are tens of millions of dollars underfunded. Oh, by the way, debt has skyrocketed under McLaughlin. Oh, and by the way, as much as they're crying about my outside involvement, Dick Durbin endorsed Dan McLaughlin for mayor of Orland Park last week. I know Dan McLaughlin for 20 years, and I can tell you he begins each day with a commitment to make his community the best it can be for every family. Dick Durbin. In a town that is ostensibly Republican. I mean, the funny thing is, like, the people, and I get all this heat on social media and stuff because of my involvement in races, and so McLaughlin loyalists have come after me, and they, we're going to beat you, we're going to beat you. You're going to beat me. Well, if I lose, you think winning is giving him a $2 million golden parachute? You think winning is setting the mayoral sale at Orland Park to $150,000? Well, oh, by the way, over the last decade, Orland Park median home values have declined by 34%. Boy, you got me. You're really teaching me a lesson there out in Orland Park. Hey, oh boy, you're brutalizing me. I mean, the whole kind of nose to spite your face mentality in these communities, either through active participation in advance of kleptocrats like McLaughlin, and or willful blindness to these other candidates that are tax scofflaws and who have in their personal background are financial train wrecks. Either way, you get to the same place, which is the destruction of your home value. So again, don't be silent. I guess, only Lisa from Barrington Hills. She's the only one who's going to vote tomorrow. All right, fine.
312-642-5600 is the number.
Here, the people who don't hate their home value, you can call in. Everybody else who's not calling in or texting in or participating, you hate your homes. You hate the investment you made in your homes. You're mad at your money and you want it to go away. Well, you're in luck because it's going to. And here's the story of Kane County. 20 years since car salesman Stephen Stanley and his wife Joan bought a half-acre lot and built a 4-bedroom custom home at 3402 Green Pastures Road in Spring Acres Hills, a then brand-new subdivision in the west side of Carpentersville. They've been trying to sell it for 5 years. They originally wanted $699 back in 12. They have since dropped the price some dozen times to $575,000. That's what they're asking for now. Since they've tried to sell the property, just in those 5 years, they've paid $90,000 in property taxes. Going back to 2002, they've paid a total of $225,000 in property taxes. 14 years ago, their bill was $12,219, 54% lower than it is today. On the home they're trying to sell for $575,000, they're paying $18,880 per year in property taxes. In Carpentersville, the effective property tax rate was 4.17% of home value. I mean, that is more than 4 times the national average. That means a bill of $8,300 on a home that's $200,000. Is that computing to people? Or is is there anybody out there who has any kind of literacy with respect to home value? Currently, 89 homes for sale in Carpentersville, 155 homes in foreclosure or pre-foreclosure. Gosh, I wonder why. 5-bedroom home in Aurora's Harbor Springs sold March 22nd for $260,000. Its tax bill $9,000. Effective property tax rates are even worse in Aurora, 4.5% of home value, 4.18% in Elgin. Give you some comparison here. In Aurora, Colorado, as opposed to Aurora, Illinois.
Yeah, been there. It's a suburb of Denver.
Yeah. The tax bill on a home that sold March 31st for the same price, $260,000. The property tax bill, $840. $840 in Aurora, Colorado, $9,000 in Aurora, Illinois. Do you get why people are bolting?
Well, I told you my friend's moving from, not Morgan, where's it? Near Skokie, Morton Grove.
Yeah.
Because her property taxes are almost $10,000 a year. And so she looked at homes in Arizona over the weekend. Property taxes were $1,200 for a year.
Right.
For a bigger home. More square footage, backyard, great school system.
Revolt or bolt, folks. What's it going to be? Keep propping up these financial illiterates and kleptocrats? Go ahead. Here's the thing. When I say I'm going to be, this is like my conversation to the Westside NAACP. No matter what you do, vote for people who destroy your home value. Vote for people who destroy the regional and state economy. Go ahead. The only thing it does to me, it saddens me that you're going to destroy this great city of Chicago and great state of Illinois. That's what you've done, and that's what you're doing by voting for the McLaughlins and the Lincoln Knights and the Dick Durbins and the Maggie Crotties of the world. But go ahead. Here's the thing. I lucked out. My parents sacrificed for me to give me access to a good education. Same thing with Amy. And we can go anywhere. We can be anywhere. I can be in South Carolina tomorrow. So, but
I'm tied to this thing called my children.
Well, I understand, but that's finite too.
Right.
And this is the point. This is the conversation everyone is having. I'm either on the way out or I've got this period of time to retirement or to my kids being out of school, and then I'm on the way out.
2024 is when I can move.
See, there's somebody.
Not that I know.
Right. Not that somebody's got a calendar marking off days in her well-appointed mansion in Lakeview.
Oh, yeah, right.
But here,
the A-frame, the new cool.
So my question is, what about you, other than those that are fleecing you to enjoy the good life at your expense at a multiple of what you make? What about you? Can you afford to continue to take the hammering? Are you going to stick it out? Here's the story in Kane County, a story you've heard every region that we've identified and investigated so far. 07 to 15, home values, Elgin down 40 real dollars, inflation adjusted. Elgin down 40%, Carpentersville down 40%, East Dundee down 36%, Aurora 36%, West Dundee 35%, Montgomery 35%, South Elgin 35%, Maple Park 33%, Campton Hills 32%, North Aurora 30%, Sugar Grove 30%, Gilbert's 30%, Hampshire 29%, St. Charles 29%, Batavia 27%, Geneva 24%. You want to go to where this is going if you don't do something? If you don't change out your local leadership that drives your property tax bill? Oh, by the way, knock, knock. Do you get it? Projected median sale price and property tax paid 2023, projecting out 6 years. You live in Aurora. Between 07 and 23, you will have paid $105,000 in property taxes, median home. The median sale price will be $107,000. You will have paid 98% of your home value over 15 years just in property taxes. In Elgin, 98%. Carpentersville, 96%. Montgomery, 90%. All the way down to Campton Hills, 56%. Meanwhile, what's school district spending out there? Caneland, School District 302 in Maple Park during the same period, during the last 20 years, 97 to 2015. 207% increase in spend.
Wow.
District 301 in Burlington, 192% increase in spend. Geneva Consolidated 304, 162%. Algonquin, 141%. Batavia, 132%. St. Charles, 107%. So keep electing the same people. Don't pay attention to what's happening at your school. Don't pay attention to what's happening at your township. Don't pay attention to who your mayor is because I don't know. I like him. I'm in Orland Park and I'm a 19th Ward lunkhead who moved down to Orland Park to play the same game I was playing in the 19th Ward, but they pushed me out of there, so I'm going to go pollute Orland Park, just like these lakefront liberals that moved to the North Shore and are like termites, eating your home out from the inside in terms of home value. Hey, but pay no attention because I'm worried about the last tweet from Trump. Real smart.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Listen, this whole do-it-yourself thing is fine for some projects, but when it comes to window coverings, not so much.
Tell me about it. I did some do-it-yourself shades that are best described as uneven and twisted.
Yeah, I've seen them. That's why I'm going with Budget Blinds.
That's a style and service for every budget people, right?
Yeah, and that is for real. Budget Blinds has no surprises pricing and a no questions asked warranty. The best in the business.
No surprises pricing and a no questions asked warranty?
No brainer, right?
So Budget Blinds comes in, measures everything, orders for you, then they install it all?
It's a beautiful thing. And now you can get up to $500 off on Signature Series window coverings.
Another no-brainer. Number, please.
855-BUDGET-BLINDS. Or go online to budgetblinds.com.
Call 855-BUDGET-BLINDS and get the experts to do it for you at a price that fits your budget.
Call 855-BUDGET-BLINDS now.
Offer good on selected products at participating independently owned and operated franchises only. Some restrictions may apply. Ask for details.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about balance of nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I've seen it in my lab. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection, and I know that it works.
Balance of Nature is providing you the best offer they've ever given. 2 free months of fruits and veggies and free shipping. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Hey, you're probably not thinking about back to school season right now. In fact, many of you are just coming back from spring break. But now is the best time to think about where you'll be sending your son or daughter to school this fall. It's a big decision, and you may have felt like private school simply wasn't in the budget for your family. Well, we want you to think again and remind you or tell you about for the first time about halfpriceschools.com. At halfpriceschools.com, you can find local private schools from all over the Chicagoland area that are offering vouchers for a full year of tuition at half the price, no catch. You can find a school near you, purchase a tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. It's really that simple. There's schools in Mount Prospect, Aurora, Shawnigan, Waukegan, South Holland, Chicago, just to name a few. So make private schools affordable for your family for the first time this year, but these vouchers will sell out. So act quickly. Visit halfpriceschools.com today. That's halfpriceschools.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
The success of a mid-sized business often comes down to one thing: managing your cash flow. I'm Ann Dollagall, Treasury Management Executive at Signature Bank. At Signature Bank, we take a personalized and proactive approach to structuring your cash management solutions to keep your financial assets safe and working for you. Our automated accounts receivable and accounts payable technology allows your business to grow without adding to your overhead expenses. And what truly sets Signature Bank apart is our personal approach. We get to know your business by rolling up our sleeves to work alongside you. Call me today for a review of your company's operational challenges.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Go to where the pros go. McGrath Printing and Custom Apparel.
If you're a business owner with commercial printing needs, contact our friends at McGrath Printing Custom Apparel, proud supporters of AM 560 and Food for the Poor. McGrath takes care of all print and apparel needs for companies of all sizes. Chicago's biggest names in manufacturing, pharmaceutical, and medical choose McGrath Printing year after year for truly unmatched customer service and reliability. Mention AM 560 and receive 20% off your first order. For a quick quote, visit McGrathPrint.com or call 815-356-5246. That's 815-356-5246. And get 20% off just by mentioning AM 560. Go to where the pros go. McGrathPrint.com.
Go to where the pros go. McGrathPrint.com. McGrathPrint.com.
Dan and Amy are talking about local elections and property taxes. By the way, speaking about Orland Park in McLaughlin.
Yes.
Spokesman for the Cook County's Assessor's Office. This is for these 19th Ward goons that provide the base of support for McLaughlin and Orland Park. The piece to the South Cook News, the piece last week in your newspaper accurately and correctly reported that Orland Park Mayor Dan McLaughlin was violating Illinois law by receiving homeowner exemptions on 2 properties. The tax cheat who almost quadrupled his salary to almost quadruple his pension, and this is a close race in Orland Park. Mystifying. Sean in Elmwood Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Well, the answer is right in front of you on many levels. Number one, you take the bum in Wakanda that doesn't pay anybody, and you make him governor. You throw out Papa Smurf and his woodshop, Bruce Rauner. You stick the stiff artist in there, and now we pay nobody, because that's the only way you're going to ever save anything.
We already do that. $12 billion in unpaid bills.
No. I don't mean providers. I mean these pension recipients. I mean these union hacks. I mean these obligations, this inside game where you pay each other to be corrupted. Those are the guys you stiff, not the actual people who do some work, who you contract hire. Those people we pay. So you need a stiff artist in there to stiff these pensions, these inside deals that you cut. And then number 2 is you bolt. If you're not in on the scam, you got to get out. And instead of selling your house, just Section 8 it, because that's the only market really exploding right now. See, Illinois is a welfare state. That's what happened. The scales are tipped, and now they're trying to hide the reality. So if you're not in on the scam, bolt. Section 8 your house and be a Tony Resco landlord.
Thanks.
That's the answer.
Thanks for the call, Sean.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Adam Schiff got kind of quiet over the weekend, ratcheted down the black helicopter rhetoric. We'll ask Michael Duran, a former DOD and NSC official, why he thinks that is at 7:37.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say good morning and welcome back to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. 44 degrees here in Chicago, but all eyes right now are on St. Petersburg, Russia, where a press office official from the local subway of their local public transit official says an explosive device has been set off on a train. We're unsure if it's in the subway or above ground right now in that Russian city. Associated Press is reporting, and we'll continue to follow up on that developing story. Somali pirates are steering an Indian commercial vessel toward the coast after a hijacking over the weekend. National Weather Service confirming that a tornado hit the community of Breaux Bridge, Louisiana, flipping a mobile home, killing a woman and her 3-year-old daughter. There's a large track of very high-powered, severe weather heading across the southern U.S. Connecticut Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal says he's a no vote today on the nomination of Neil Gorsuch to the Supreme Court.
The nominee for this position is one that I take as seriously or more seriously than any that I will vote on as a United States Senator.
We're also watching developments this morning in Colombia. Survivors in the southern city of Mocoa desperately searching for loved ones after a devastating flood that's claimed the life of around 250. 2 are dead and 4 are recovering from gunshot wounds on Chicago's west side. Someone fired from a car, according to police, in the East Garfield Park neighborhood. A toddler is in critical condition after tumbling 2 stories from a window or a porch in the Park West neighborhood. It happened yesterday afternoon in the 500 block of West Wrightwood. A lower cost of living driving more Illinois residents to pick up and move to Indiana. Census Bureau is reporting more than 34,000 Illinois residents moved to Indiana in 2015. And Illinois' last animal-only disease lab is closing. The Illinois Department of Agriculture lab stopped taking samples last week. They'll close their doors in a few days. It is a budget belt-tightening move by the governor and the state, as Illinois now sends all animal disease questions to the lab at the University of Illinois. Cardinals over the Cubs in the season opener, 4-3. Sox break the ice on the new baseball season this afternoon versus the Tigers at home. Blackhawks beaten by the Bruins 3-2. Bulls were winners over the Pelicans. The news service of Staples, filing your own taxes this year. Staples helps you be accountable with everything you need for tax season for less. Storage boxes, filing supplies, software like QuickBooks and TurboTax. Right now, get up to $10 off when you buy TurboTax. In store only ends 4/15/17. Staples make more happen. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The Joe Walsh Show.
Governor Greg Abbott is threatening any Texas city that becomes a sanctuary city. That if you don't reverse course and cease and desist your sanctuary city status, the state's going to cut you off. Man, that's the way to do it. It's my hope that Trump's going to do the same thing.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Listen, this whole do-it-yourself thing is fine for some projects, but when it comes to window coverings, not so much.
Tell me about it. I did some do-it-yourself shades that are best described as uneven and twisted.
Yeah, I've seen them. That's why I'm going with Budget Blinds.
That's a style and service for every budget people, right?
Yeah, and that is for real. Budget Blinds has no surprises pricing and a no questions asked warranty. The best in the business.
No surprises pricing and a no questions asked warranty.
No brainer, right?
So Budget Blinds comes in, measures everything, orders for you, then they install it all?
It's a beautiful thing. And now you can get up to $500 off on Signature Series window coverings.
Another no-brainer. Number, please.
855-BUDGET-BLINDS. Or go online to budgetblinds.com.
Call 855-BUDGET-BLINDS and get the experts to do it for you at a price that fits your budget.
Call 855-BUDGET-BLINDS now.
Offer good on selected products at participating independently owned and operated franchises only. Some restrictions may apply. Ask for details.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. The storm season is here. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for sudden damage and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com.
Metro's 95% on-time dependability helps you get to work on time no matter what's happening on the roads. Find the station nearest you at metrorail.com.
7:36 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. In the North Chicago area, southbound 41 is jammed. 137 to 176 with a crash. Traffic gets by on the right shoulder. The Edens is 23 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. Kennedy, 45 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 33. The Ike, 59 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 35. Stevenson, 56 minutes. 3:55 to the drive, outbound 38. Ryan is 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, heavy 95th to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve. After a crash, that has the Reagan Tollway backed up from Myers to the Tri-State. Traffic service of Westin Hotels and Resorts. At Westin Hotels and Resorts, they offer a menu of delicious superfoods. Why? Not because they give you actual superpowers. You can rise above travel's disruptions and stay in control of your well-being. Eat well with the Superfoods RX menu. Westin, let's rise. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, cooler day ahead. Rain showers and some locally heavy rain showers could result in some flooding in low-lying spots. High 52 today. A little rain overnight, low 45. Currently, 45 degrees. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Power Trading Radio. Heard Sundays at 2 p.m. Brought to you each week by Online Trading Academy.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, on this matter of the dueling accusations from the left of Trump colluding with the Russians and from Trump of the Obama administration surveilling him and his people, let's just make a general categorical statement of that sort. Adam Schiff, he's the ranking member of the House Intel Committee. He's the Democrat who represents Area 51. Been really involved in spinning conspiracy theories on the topic.
Well, on Friday, he was able to go to see the evidence for himself.
Yeah, and
they showed him the same information that they showed Nunes.
He issued this statement, which was very un-Adam Schiff-like, today my staff director and I reviewed the materials at the White House. It was represented to me that they are precisely the same materials that were provided to the chairman over a week ago. While I cannot discuss the contents of the documents, if the White House had any concern over these materials, they should have been shared with the full committees in the first place, blah, blah, blah. Nothing I could see today warranted a departure from the normal review procedures, and these materials should not be provided to the full membership of both committees. The White House has yet to explain why senior House staff have shared these materials, but only with one member, only for their contents to be briefed back to the White House. The point of that gobbledygook is this.
There's no smoking gun.
Well, Mr. Schiff is arguing process instead of substance. And when you're arguing process instead of substance, that means you have a weak hand substantively. And then there was Adam Schiff with Jake Tapper over the weekend, sounding quite chastened by what he saw.
I don't think we can say anything definitively at this point. We are still at the very early stage of the investigation. The only thing I can say is that it would be irresponsible for us not to get to the bottom of this.
Boy, that is
wow.
The kind of measured statement we have just heard from Adam Schiff for the first time this weekend, after he was briefed on Friday. So perhaps the congressman from Area 51 has been chastened by the information he's seen, because his tune is a lot different. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Michael Doran. He is a former Defense Department official and National Security Council member under President George W. Bush. Michael, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. And so the change in tone and the walking back some of the more demagogic statements that Schiff has been making in recent weeks after being briefed on Friday, is that your read on it? And if so, what does that tell you about what Mr. Schiff may now know that he didn't previously?
Oh, I think it absolutely, it's absolutely my read, and it absolutely shows that he's been somewhat chastened, starting to realize that pushing this conspiracy theory that Donald Trump is Vladimir Putin's Manchurian candidate is going to be a loser in the long run. So he's shifting the focus over to Russian hacking in the election and hacking in general, and is going to try to talk as little as possible about the Obama surveillance scandal. That's what he's going to do, I think.
Well, do you think that there is an Obama surveillance scandal?
Absolutely. There's the evidence of it is strewn across the pages of the Washington Post and the New York Times. You probably saw that clip with Mark Levin a couple of weeks ago, where he just went through the newspapers and read all the reports in the newspapers that said that the Trump team had been surveilled. So there's just no doubt about it. The only question is the extent of it.
And what about the whole controversy that was surrounding a former Assistant Secretary of Defense, Evelyn Farkas, last week that we talked about in this show, as others did, certainly, where she attempted to walk back in what she had said in an interview on MSNBC earlier in the month about how we knew what we knew, and then she just kind of recast that, saying the only thing I knew was from reading the newspapers. What your kind of deciphering of all of that?
Well, I had a slightly different take than a lot of conservatives on Evelyn Farkas, because a lot of people said, here's what she's doing is she's testifying to the fact that the Obama administration surveilled the Trump transition team. And I read it slightly differently, because she was out of government at the time. So what she was repeating to Mika Brzezinski was what Obama officials were telling her back in early January. And what they were doing at that time was hyping the Russia hacking issue and hyping the extent of cooperation between the issue of cooperation between the Trump team and the Russians. And they were telling her, oh, gosh, you won't believe what we're seeing in the intelligence. It's just unbelievable, right? So they were hyping all of this because that was part of the campaign to delegitimate Donald Trump and present him as if he was installed in the presidency by Vladimir Putin. So what she's giving us is evidence of is not so much that the Obama administration surveilled Trump, although they did. What she's giving us evidence of is the Russia issue that they were doing back in January.
So is there
her attempt to walk it back was just hilarious because then she said, "Oh no, I knew there was all this intelligence because they weren't telling me anything. I could just see it on their faces. So their silence is what told me this. But no, that's just ridiculous."
Well, then who is it that leaked the information about General Flynn? I mean, I know that's the $1 million question, but that was their parting gift on the way out.
There's no way to know at this point who leaked, who unmasked, and who leaked. There's Mike Cernovich on Twitter on a piece on Medium has said that he has information that it was Susan Rice who did the unmasking, but he doesn't tell us how he knows that. I'm a little bit skeptical. I want evidence, but I'll tell you this: it was a conspiracy. It wasn't just one person. And I'll tell you why. The intelligence, when it comes to you from the NSA, is voluminous. Somebody had to sort through all of those intelligence reports and find the ones that pertained to the Trump transition. So, first of all, you had to have people comb through the reports and pick out the right numbers. Then somebody else, probably somebody else, because it requires a high level of clearance, and you'd want to do it through one person, ask the NSA to unmask the names. So you have a team picking through the intelligence, a small, trusted cell, then you have somebody unmasking. And then you mentioned the General Flynn thing. Mm-hmm. This is where it turns into even more of a conspiracy, because somebody leaked that information to the press. And if you go back and you look at the David Ignatius column from January 12th, in which Flynn's name and Flynn's conversations with Kislyak are described, you see that it wasn't merely the information that was given to Ignatius. They didn't merely say, "Oh, Flynn talked with Kislyak." They also said, and it was part of this cooperation between Trump and Putin. So in other words, it was pushing an information operation. So the person who disseminated it was a spinmeister. So I think you have at least three elements here. You have the people combing through the intelligence, the people unmasking, the person or persons unmasking, and then the person who's pushing the information operation. They were initially surveilling in order to collect political intelligence on the Trump team, one assumes. But as of late December and early January, they started this information operation to hype the Russian threat and to hype the connection between Trump and Russia. And that required pushing intelligence out into the public. So those are three different elements of this, and that's what makes it a conspiracy.
Well, and
I'll just add one last sentence. Sorry. It's extremely unlikely that President Obama didn't know about this.
Well, I mean, if all of that turns out to be true, then boy, we've got really an explosive story. Particularly what you suggest, we assume, which is that this was initially political or surveillance for political reasons to gather political intel, using the state to gather intel on a opposition party candidate and his team. And so that leads me to the question about Clapper, Brennan, and Yates. Nunes canceled a hearing that was planned for last week with two top intelligence officers and the former Justice Department. So Clapper, former DNI, Brennan, CIA, Yates at DOJ. Would it behoove Nunes to kind of figure out the back and forth between he and Comey about the nature of testifying before the House Intel Committee and get Clapper, Brennan, and Yates to testify to what they know about some of these questions that you're raising?
I don't want to second guess Nunes. I saw that letter that he sent out on, I think it was March 15th, to all the intelligence agencies, asking them. He particularly honed in on the Flynn leak, and that's important because the Flynn leak is a crime. It's a felony, in addition to being a breach of the public trust. So it was smart of him to do that. The fact that he did that shows me that he's thought, I think, a few steps ahead on this.
Well, so if you want second guess some of that, let me ask you another question in our limited time, which is some people have suggested Donald Trump should declassify some of the information that's been obtained, like the documents Nunes and now Schiff has seen. What about that? Trump declassifying documents to let the American people in on what members of Congress know, to bring them along in this investigation and take some of the cloak and dagger nature of the back and forth allegations out of the investigation?
That's one I haven't understood. I think it would be a good idea. He doesn't necessarily have to declassify everything, but he could put together his own team in the White House to go through everything that they have and to build now that we have an understanding of how this surveillance was carried out, probably at least a partial understanding, to put together a really thorough dossier with a description of what was done, and then he could bring in the Senate intel in addition to House intel to look at that. I don't know why they've chosen not to do this. It would have been. I think maybe he felt that people wouldn't trust him. Who knows? Maybe he himself didn't completely understand what he can do with his executive powers. But I think that would be wise, yes.
Okay. All right. Good. He is Michael Doran, former Defense Department official, as well as a member of the National Security Council under President George W. Bush. Michael, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your insights.
Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Forecast for opening day when the Sox take on the Tigers. You're going to have cloudy skies, 49 degrees game time. A high today of 52 degrees. Showers later, so that's good. Hopefully you can squeeze in the game before we don't want...
Maybe it's cloudy if you're not in a private box.
Oh, so if it rains, it won't affect you anyway?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, okay. We want to make sure you stay dry and comfortable, Dan. And then tomorrow it's going to be cloudy in the morning. Otherwise, partly sunny skies by the afternoon. And get this, a high near 60 degrees. That's sweet because we'll have snow by Thursday, believe it or not. Let's get into our alarm detection systems traffic center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Tri-State Tollway southbound. Rousing delays of Plain to Everett. Northbound very heavy. 95th to the Hinsdale Oasis. And from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve after a crash. That has the eastbound Reagan Tollway backed up. Delays start at Myers and continue to 294. Veterans Memorial, so 75th to the Reagan Tollway and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. The Edens, 23 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 22. Kennedy, 51 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, a little quicker than the Express, outbound 38. Eisenhower, an hour. Thorndale to downtown, outbound 43 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes. 3:55 to the drive, outbound 39 minutes. The Ryan is 28 minutes. 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive jammed southbound Hollywood to North Avenue. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Yes, Dan, if you would listen, I said possible snow showers on Thursday, but it probably won't stick. I know. It stinks. Watch your mouth. Hey, 847-926-0700. 847-926-0700. Calling this number can bring thousands of extra dollars right to your wallet. The Art House Gallery is back in Chicagoland. Do you have any jewelry, diamonds, gold, silver, or antiques? How about paintings? Porcelain, Fabergé, maybe high-end pocket or wristwatches, Rolexes, Cartier, Tiffany, Breitling. Well, if you do, call the Art House Gallery now at 847-926-0700. Get cash for your valuables today. Meet in their office in Highland Park or in the privacy of your own home or bank. Now, the Art House Gallery makes it easy and convenient, professional and respectful. Your items and collectibles may be worth thousands in cash paid directly to you, so gather up your jewelry, diamonds, gold, paintings, high-end watches, and more, and call to schedule a meeting with the Art House Gallery. You'll be glad you did. Get cash for your valuables today. Call 847-926-0700. That's 847-926-0700. Or online at ChicagoArtHouseGallery.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
My daughter started school, and I find myself worrying if she is getting home safe while I'm still at work. I wish I could check up on her.
Alarm Detection Systems offers remote control of your security system from your phone. Get text or video alerts when someone's at your door. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
Our neighbor had thousands of dollars in flood damage and lost several items that are irreplaceable. Is there a security solution to receive early warning of an event like this?
Of course. Alarm Detection Systems has flood detection systems alerting you when water gathers in your home, giving you time to react. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
Are you behind in your mortgage, facing foreclosure, being given the runaround on a loan modification application by some bank or servicer? Well, you're not alone, but I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've put together a team to help distressed homeowners like you. Give us a call. We give everyone who's eligible a free consultation. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
You've heard of living trusts and how they can help protect your assets, but you may not know if a living trust is right for you. Or maybe you have questions about creating your own living trust. The fact is, almost everyone can benefit from a living trust, which can protect your assets from the court system and your loved ones from unnecessary expense and inconvenience. Learn more at a free seminar Thursday, April 6th. Estate planning attorney Robert Zapolis will explain how to create your own living trust, estate planning under the new tax laws, why a will does not avoid probate, and more. Have your estate planning and living trust questions answered absolutely free. Don't miss this important seminar Thursday, April 6th at 6:30 p.m. at Papa Joe's Restaurant, 145th and LaGrange Road in Orland Park. The seminar is free and a complimentary dinner is served, but you must make a reservation now. Call 708-478-1400. Call 708-478-1400. Again, 708-478-1400.
Oh, this roof is so needy.
Call Crumweedy.
How do you spell that?
K-R-U-M-W.
Oh, just go to myroofisneedy.com.
If your roof is needy, call Crumweedy. This is Greg Olson of Crumweedy.
And I'm Mark Olson from Crumweedy. We are a third-generation family-run business, and we have been doing Chicagoland roofs since 1953.
You can't do that unless you do really great roofs. We share the same conservative values as you, and we want to do your roof. Here's what you can expect.
First, no high pressure. You make the choice. Whatever option you choose, count on getting a roof that lasts at a fair price.
You see, application is the key. We follow the manufacturer's specifications so your warranty is intact. A lot of companies don't do that, and that could void your warranty.
Our installation is outstanding. No horror stories here. The roof you need that will fix your problems. When your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy.
Go to myroofisneedy.com. myroofisneedy.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
So much to Obamacare, so many reasons to repeal and replace. How about this one? How many different ways are there to make a Domino's pizza? Comes to us from Kevin Williamson, National Review Online. It's of interest to the FDA under a provision in the Affordable Care Act for outlets of brands with 20 or more locations. You must post signs in the shop with calorie counts for every item on the menu and every variation of that item.
Oh, really? So if you have Hawaiian pizza, it's different caloric intake than pepperoni.
We did the math. Tim McIntyre, an executive at Domino's and chairman of the American Pizza Community, that actually exists, with gluten-free crust to thick to hand-tossed to pan pizza, multiple sizes, cheese toppings, there are about 34 million possible combinations. That's difficult to put on a menu, says Mr. McIntyre. Oh, by the way, Domino's, they have all their calorie information on the website, too, but that doesn't comport with the regulation to have signage at the locations.
You eat pizza because you don't want to know how many calories you're getting. It's just it's ridiculous. Big government. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to Zudy Jasser at 8:08.
And later, a surprise for White Sox fan Dan Proft. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, Chicago police issue a second warrant in that live stream sexual assault. Baseball opening day off for the Sox on the South Side. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. It's the first hurdle Neil Gorsuch has to clear. A Senate Judiciary Committee vote next hour that'll move his Supreme Court nomination forward, and then it gets more complicated.
Judge Gorsuch is going to be confirmed.
Republican Senate Leader Mitch McConnell may have to alter the rules if 8 Democrats don't join the GOP supporting Gorsuch.
When a nominee doesn't get 60 votes, you shouldn't change the rules. You should change the nominee.
That's Democratic Senate Leader Chuck Schumer on NBC.
Republican leaders have hinted at getting around a filibuster by changing Senate rules with the so-called nuclear option that was used for other nominees a few years ago when Democrats controlled the Senate. It would require a simple majority or nearly every Republican senator to agree.
Fox's Jared Halpern, President Trump's son-in-law, is in Iraq. Jared Kushner is also a senior advisor and visiting with Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman General Joseph Dunford at a time when Iraqi forces are said to be closer to finally retaking Mosul from ISIS. The president will soon host Egypt's president at the White House, where Fox's John Decker's live.
President Trump set to meet this morning with Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, where he'll make counterterrorism and the fight against Islamic terror groups a top priority. The president will also address human rights issues. Separately, just days before he hosts Chinese President Xi Jinping at his estate in Palm Beach, the president said in an interview with the Financial Times that the U.S. is ready to act alone against North Korea's nuclear program if China does not take a tougher stance. Dave?
John, there was an explosion on a subway train in St. Petersburg, Russia today, leading to an evacuation. There are reports of at least 10 dead. There's a threat of storms and maybe tornadoes from Mississippi to South Carolina. The day after a twister flipped a mobile home in Louisiana, killing a woman and her 3-year-old daughter. Cheryl Rubens, a neighbor, says everyone loved that little girl.
Could have been my kids in my house, in my trailer, going through the same thing.
Amid all the damage, thousands lost power in the storms. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
46 degrees, cloudy skies in Chicago at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer, good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Just want to keep you abreast of what's developing in St. Petersburg, Russia. You heard Fox note that 10 were dead. According to Russian media, TASS and Interfax, among them, there is another report that a second subway station has also been attacked. 8 other stations have just been closed in this developing situation. 2 are dead, 4 are recovering from gunshots on the city's west side. Police tell us someone fired from a car in the East Garfield Park neighborhood in the middle of the day yesterday. Police say more arrests are planned in the sexual assault of a 15-year-old girl live streamed over Facebook. Police say a 14-year-old boy, for his part in the attack, has been arrested, and a second arrest warrant has been issued for a 15-year-old. A toddler this morning is in serious condition after falling or tumbling from a porch or window in the Park West neighborhood. It happened yesterday afternoon at a building in the 500 block of West Wrightwood Avenue. Authorities have not yet released the toddler's identity. Authorities are investigating after the stabbing death of a man that occurred in a Gresham alley over the weekend. The unidentified man was found lying face down near 85th in South Peoria. Police say that a man in his 40s was stabbed in the neck and the head. Illinois lawmakers are not the only ones who are less than thrilled with the University of Illinois special budget request. Illinois' other universities are unimpressed as well. U of I wants $650 million a year for 5 years outside of the regular budget process. Eastern Illinois University President David Glassman telling lawmakers last week his school will serve Illinois students without a special compact. Cardinals beat the Cubs in the Little Lifter on the regular baseball season 4-3 last night. Sox open up the season later this afternoon against the Tigers. 8:04 is our time. Time for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro. Here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, tens of thousands of Ford F-Series pickups are being recalled because they could roll even when parked. The model involved is the 6.2-liter F-250 built in Kentucky from October 2015 through last week. Ford is urging drivers to use the parking brake so the truck doesn't move. Tesla has stepped up production more than expected. Tesla says it delivered a record 25,000 cars in the first 3 months of this year. Though Tesla made money in the fall quarter, it lost money at the end of the year. Burberry's beauty business will be marketed by Coty. The agreement takes effect in October if it is approved by regulators. Burberry's chief executive Christopher Bailey is hoping having Coty as a partner will help the brand to grow. The Dow closed down 65 on Friday. NASDAQ dropped 2, S&P lost 5. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
At 8:05, the news, a service of Firestone Complete Auto Care. The 4,000 ASE certified technicians at Firestone Complete Auto Care can tell you if your car's got the power it needs, the traction. Right now, buy a set of 4 eligible Bridgestone tires, and you'll get a $70 Bridgestone Visa prepaid card by mail. Whatever you do, drive a Firestone. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560, The Answer.
You need to understand that the way you build wealth is you do not use the evening news or CNN or Fox to set the tone of your emotions around your investing.
The Dave Ramsey Show.
If you're thinking of changing your investing patterns because you're watching the news, you need to turn off the news. You are in charge of your destiny.
Dave Ramsey. Weeknights starting at 7. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
Buying a new tractor? You owe it to yourself to visit your LS Tractor dealer. LS Tractors give you a lot more tractor for less money compared to other brands. For starters, LS Tractor comes with more select features as standard equipment. They make operating your tractor easier with better performance to get more work done quicker. Compare and you'll know who gives you more tractor for your money. LS Tractor. Excel in your field. Learn more at lstractorusa.com.
Visit Abbey Equipment in Streator and get more tractor.
In your business, you trust people who time and time again get the job done. At Indeed.com, we deliver 5 times more hires than any other job site, according to independent research. That's why over 3 million businesses use Indeed when they're hiring, because getting the job done matters. Right now, we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
It is 8:07. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy has stop-and-go traffic from Austin to the Burn Circle. It's 52 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 33 from Montrose, 30 in the Express. Outbound 20 minutes to Montrose, 37 to the airport. The Edens is 20 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 23. Eisenhower, an hour, Thorndale to downtown, 43 minutes from Manheim, outbound 54 to Thorndale. Stevenson is an hour and 6 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36 minutes. The Ryan, 30 minutes, 95 to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive is heavy at 39 minutes, Hollywood to Monroe, northbound okay. Southbound Tri-State, stop and go 21 to Everett, a long delay, northbound from 95th to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve. Reagan Tollway tied up Myers to the Tri-State, Veterans Memorial, slow 63rd to the Reagan Tollway and Army Trail to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, cloudy and cooler with occasional rain followed by a steadier rain. There could be flooding and low lying in for drainage areas. High today, 52. Cloudy night with periods of rain mainly early tonight, low 45. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
In Chicago, 45 degrees. Next news coming up at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Wine Time Radio. Every Saturday at 5 p.m. on AM 560, explore the wonderful world of wine with host James Crooker and Rob Lehner.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So Donald Trump is meeting today with Egyptian President El-Sisi at the White House, their first face-to-face meeting since Trump was inaugurated President of the United States. Sisi,
meeting Obama never had with Sisi.
This is
a new era.
This has the potential to be an important. Well, it is an important relationship. Egypt is the second largest recipient of foreign aid behind U.S. foreign aid behind Israel, and El-Sisi is a sworn enemy of the Muslim Brotherhood, which should be designated a terrorist organization in my estimation. So this is an important relationship to fighting the war against Islamofascism. But for more on this, let's get an expert opinion on this, and that expert opinion will come to us via Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, who is the president of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy and former U.S. Navy lieutenant. He's also the author of the book, A Battle for the Soul of Islam. Zuhdi, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Oh, it's great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
So what about this issue? This is a point of some contention between kind of hardliners, I would describe, when it comes to combating radical Islamic terrorism, and the diplomat set about the designation of the Muslim Brotherhood. El-Sisi, one of the first things he did when he assumed office was to outlaw the Muslim Brotherhood. I'm not sure how impactful that is, but it's a good message sender at the least. And so, what should Trump, in your estimation, seek to extract from El-Sisi? How can they work together to combat this radical element within Islam that's doing things like persecuting Coptic Christians in Egypt?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head about the Christian community. They've been we're suffering significantly under the Brotherhood. Now the president is looking to sort of regroup our allies in the war against ISIS, and there's no better ally than El-Sisi. The designation of the Brotherhood, we were, as somebody who's dedicated my life to fighting the Brotherhood, I think the Egyptian Muslim Brotherhood is clearly a terror organization. I mean, just a few days ago, they had some public pronouncements on social media, et cetera, that said that they basically endorsed militant operations against those who threaten the Islamic State and who want to build a Sharia state. So there's no doubt that the Egyptian Muslim Brotherhood is a foreign terrorist organization. And
hello?
Oh, no, they've intercepted another one of our pro-freedom guests. That's what they do.
NSA has got to give us a break, especially on a Monday.
I think it was because your harsh criticism of Congressman Adam Schiff. I think that was the problem. Do we have Zuhdi back?
Yeah, I think he's there. Oh wait,
Zuhdi, are you back?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Okay.
That was a quick
and
disconnect and reconnect. Thank you.
We'll reconnoiter our electronic setup here to make sure that it's not vulnerable to such attacks again. So I'm sorry, you were saying about the Muslim Brotherhood and the propriety in designating it as a terrorist organization and so forth.
Yeah, the Egyptian Muslim Brotherhood clearly is a terror organization by virtue of their militant attacks on churches, on the Coptic community, their refusal to abide by the rule of law in Egypt. The more complicated thing for President Trump is whether that would translate into an international designation. I think that's more complicated. We need to do it country by country, where there are groups that are not named the Brotherhood, but really are legacy groups of them that we need to address really country by country. But I also think that I would like to see President Trump hold El-Sisi accountable to the reforms that he supposedly rhetorically said he was going to do in January 2014, where he said the right things about countering violence, et cetera, but hasn't talked about democracy and liberty and what he's for. So he has actually overseen the torture and imprisonment of journalists and other things that really has really become Mubarak 2.0. rather than really an advancement of what the revolution was looking for.
I wish President Trump would say, hey, we'll give you your $1.3 billion in foreign aid if you release that Egyptian American woman that they're holding.
Yeah, and not only her, but there are a number of other prisoners that are in jail for blasphemy laws and other things that, as much as El-Sisi is not a Muslim Brotherhood fan, he has invoked some Sharia-type laws and blasphemy and apostasy laws that have set his country back into the 20th, if not the 13th century.
Here's if I was president of the United States, hilarious. That would be funny. But here would be my kind of two-pronged threshold you have to clear to receive aid from this country. One, you have to be religiously tolerant, and you have to protect religious people who are being persecuted because of their religious affiliation. Number two, you have to have free and fair elections. If you can't accomplish those two things, then we're not going to support you financially, even where we may work together. And it gets us out of this problem of financing regimes that do some good while they're engaged in repressive acts like you're describing. What do you think of that?
I would just add not only free elections, but free speech. And I think the template for this is the U.S. Commission on Religious Freedom. I sat on that commission for 4 years till 2016. Egypt was listed as one of our countries of concern because of their inability to punish people who would commit acts that were violent against religious minorities, and their inability to provide freedoms not only for the minorities, but also Sunnis who were fighting, who were dissidents that wanted to be free and speak out. So religious freedom, you're right, is what we can hold them accountable to. And one of the sad things I saw, as strong as President Trump has been in hard power versus ISIS, it seems that soft power is becoming more irrelevant as we see basically an acceptance of Assad as the president of Syria and other sort of a weakening of our stance for freedom and democracy. So I hope with El-Sisi, which is one of the strongest allies we have, we test that friendship and say, we will protect you, we will work with you if you start to stand with some of our stances on freedom and liberty.
And this goes to, our new partner in peace, the mullahs in Iran, don't you know? And the news out of Iran sentencing a 21-year-old to death after he, quote unquote, insulted Islam on some messenger app. I mean, this is of the same kind, how we're doing these deals that are dubious in nature at best, in my estimation, providing a pathway to a nuclear Iran. And yet there's no carrot and stick when it comes to natural rights.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up because, as the president meets with El-Sisi today, are the American people going to start to get a sense of what a Trump doctrine is going to look like in the Middle East? And it has to start to make sense as what's the common lens he's looking through. If he turns a blind eye to what's happening in Iran, with how strong he was in the campaign against the Iran deal and how horrible that was, how does it make sense to say, well, we will no longer work to see the end of the Assad regime when that's exactly what the Iranians wanted, which is their client state of Assad, Hezbollah and 20 to 40,000 troops in Syria. He says we don't want to muddle in the Syrian politics. It's up to the Syrian people, when in fact, if that was true of what Secretary Tillerson and Ambassador Haley said, if that's true, then we would tell the Russians and the Iranians to get the heck out of Dodge in Syria and let the Syrian people determine for themselves. So we have to start putting this puzzle together in a clear way where the American public can start to say, okay, President Trump has a common, consistent vision of what he applies to Egypt, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Syria, rather than this sort of muddled confusion that happens.
Right. Now, I agree with that. I think that's well stated. And if they do take that hands-off approach with respect to the Assad regime, aren't you in effect handing victory to Hezbollah?
Exactly. And how does that telegraph to Israel? One of their greatest threats to their security is Hezbollah and Iran, in which we basically say now, well, it doesn't matter. Assad used weapons 40 times. Chemical weapons, it doesn't matter. And on the one hand, we were critical of Obama's rhetoric when he didn't back that up with anything. It almost seems now we've made even a step backwards as we've stepped away from the rhetoric and accepted Assad. And there's no way as hard as it is to say, well, what would replace Assad, let it truly be up to the Syrian people. Let's tell the Russians and the Iranians rhetorically and openly to withdraw from Syria and let them have some self-determination. And I think ultimately that's the path for every country in the Middle East to move towards the 21st century and to be more free.
He served our country in the U.S. Navy, Lieutenant Commander. He is a medical doctor as well, if I'm remembering correctly. He is Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, the president of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy and the author of the book, A Battle for the Soul of Islam. Dr. Jasser, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Anytime. Thank you for having me.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line. Excuse you.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, President Trump has tweeted something. He just won't let it go. We'll explain coming up. But first, here's your forecast. Cooler today with some rain late this afternoon. So you should be able to squeeze in the opening day game between the White Sox and the Tigers. Game temperature, 49 degrees, going up to a high today of 52 degrees. Then tonight, a little rain. And tomorrow, we're going to have clouds in the morning. Otherwise, some mostly sunny skies by the afternoon. Great day to play golf, Dan. A high near 60 degrees. Let's get our travel times. Are they high? Here's Jim Talamonte, who joins us in our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Amy, the inbound Kennedy is getting heavier. There's a crash in the express lanes at Diversey. The left lane is blocked. Right now, it's 53 minutes from O'Hare to downtown, 33 from Montrose, Locals or Express. That's likely to rise now. Outbound 37 minutes. Eden's pretty light, 20 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 23. The Eisenhower, 61 minutes Thorndale to downtown, 45 from Manheim. Outbound 47 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 6 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 36 minutes. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, stop and go Hollywood to North Avenue. Northbound Tri-State, really heavy, 95th to the Hinsdale Oasis, from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Reagan Tollway backed up. Myers to the Tri-State. The southbound Tri-State is heavy, 21 to Everett. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Upstream-ideas.com. It's where you go to get premium content that complements what we do on this show, in addition to tweeting out information like our property tax reports. They're all posted at upstream-ideas.com. Podcasts of our Illinois Rising program, including this past Sunday's, which previews many of the contested municipal elections tomorrow, and a Follow the Logic segment you should check out, interviewing UIC students about higher ed funding in Illinois. It's all at upstream-ideas.com. Sign up today.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm telling you right now, it's awesome. I was trying to get my blood pressure regulated, okay? And like after 3 days of taking this thing, my blood pressure went back down to normal. I am ecstatic. I am so happy with this stuff. It is my savior.
This was the first summer that I have not had to have a steroid shot to help me to breathe.
The reason why I'm taking it because I've got Hep C. Once I began taking your stuff, it took a few months, but believe it or not, my liver enzymes are way down and it's normal now. It works.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life, but I should have ordered it like 15 years ago.
Hey, spring is here, the birds, the bees, baseball, and seasonal allergies. And the last thing you need is a pillow you're allergic to. And yes, of course, MyPillow is hypoallergenic. So good night's sleep is so important for our health. And for April, you'll receive the 50% discount on the MyPillow 4-pack. That's 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows. With MyPillow, you can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need regardless of sleep position. You'll get into deep sleep faster and stay there longer. No more waking up to a stiff neck or headache. Our good friend Mike Lindell makes them in Minnesota. You can wash them and dry your MyPillow, and of course, you'll get a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Wow. So get 50% off the 4-pack by calling 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy or visit MyPillow.com. That's 800-489-0201, promo code Amy.
AM 560, The Answer. AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, I I wish I could stop him from tweeting. President Trump a few hours ago tweeted, "Did Hillary Clinton ever apologize for receiving the answers to the debate? Just asking!" Exclamation point. I mean, he doesn't let it go. That's remember when she was handed by Donna Brazile some debate questions before the debate at Washington University.
Yeah, that's good. Well, she doesn't let it go either. She's still on the stump talking about nonsense. So it's great. I mean, we're going to have a rematch in 2020 of 2016.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
And the next 4 years will just be a lead up into that rematch. Isn't that going to be fun?
There's more. Here's another one. Was the brother of John Podesta paid big money to get the sanctions on Russia lifted? Did Hillary know? Dun, dun, dun.
Policy news. This could be coming to a community like yours, because if it's a bad idea elsewhere, you can be sure that Chicago Democrat politicians are looking to incorporate it here.
Yes.
Washington, D.C., among the first in the nation to require child care workers to get college degrees. Do you think child care workers should be required to have a college degree? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. I was afraid I couldn't do it, said Debbie James Dean, who graduated from high school in 1979 and has spent much of her career working in child care. She's works at the Kids R Us Learning Center in Southeast Washington. She's earning $12.75 an hour. And she graduated from high school in 1979. So you're telling this this woman in her mid-50s that she has to go incur the debt associated with college
to keep the job that she already has right now?
That she's been doing for the past 3 decades.
See, that's ridiculous because, you can learn how to work a car and auto shop in high school. But nobody teaches you how to be a mom. There's no class. I mean, you can take home economics to learn how to wash a plate properly and sew a stuffed animal basketball, but nothing teaches you how to be a mom except for experience and watching from your own mother and your grandmother. So going back to college to get a degree, that is just a colossal waste of money and that lady's time.
Valora Washington, who's the chief executive of the Council for Professional Recognition, which oversees the Child Development Associate program, an entry-level credential for child care providers. She said a similar education requirement, meaning college education, would shut down the child care system in many states. Right. Yeah. I mean, that's the question in terms of childcare, and your point, I think, is the salient one, that experience counts for something as well, but clawing back not just for new hires but for existing childcare workers would create this problem, and we know where college tuition is these days.
Oh, yeah, and they said scientists concluded that teachers need the skills and insight to offer the kinds of learning experiences that challenge them and make them feel safe. The heck is that? That's a bunch of gobbledygook.
Is there some systemic problem in childcare in this country? I mean, are there going to be examples of bad actors and bad outfits like in any other
profession?
Yeah, sector. But is there something systemic? The report says teachers of infants and toddlers require the same level of sophisticated knowledge and skills expected of elementary educators, so they should likewise be expected to have a bachelor's degree. You mean like the elementary school educators in CPS, for example, 10% of whom, meaning 3,000, cannot pass a basic skills test, like those experts in their field? David in Forest Park, you're in Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Amy. How you doing?
Good.
Great. My comment is real quick. It's not about the college degree, or not about necessarily what they teach you. I want my child going to child care where I know that the people that are taking care of him are committed people that are actually, people in society that worked for something, that didn't just finish, drop out of high school or mess up their lives and needed to get a job and now are dealing with my kids. So it just shows somebody that, they actually have a degree. They sat through 4 years of college. Whether they know something or not, there's still a commitment issue that's there.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for the call, David.
I mean, a high school diploma should suffice. I don't think higher education is necessary.
Well, what about working in the field and working your way up in the field? Does that show a commitment? And demonstrating yourself through performance, does that show a commitment? I think it does.
Chicago, talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
It's a business reality. More B2B leads equals more sales. The Sales Prospecting Group is ready to help you take your business to the next level. The Sales Prospecting Group is a local Chicagoland company that's helped hundreds of companies nationwide to secure new business by getting them in the door. Recently, in just 1 week, they set 24 appointments within the industrial industry and another 18 sales appointments within the software industry. One client in the medical products industry received over 1,200 sales leads since mid-January. No contract labor or offshore callers. Their in-house staff of business account executives are highly trained, professional, and effective. Get a custom campaign specifically for your business. They know how to navigate complex corporate hierarchies to get to the right people and get you connected with them. The Sales Prospecting Group specializes exclusively on B2B sales. Call the Sales Prospecting Group now to learn how they can help your business grow in 2017. 630-701-9052. 630-701-9052. The Sales Prospecting Group. It's time to grow.
Deb, I'm so done with today. Traffic was awful. I couldn't stop for coffee. I have conference calls all morning, plus all these reports to go through. And look, it's 75 and sunny, and I'm stuck in here.
Relax. It's going to be an awesome day. Corporate is throwing a picnic in the parking lot for lunch, and they ordered Tasty Catering.
What? Did I miss the memo?
Apparently. It's going to be great. They got burgers, grilled chicken, sides, the works. You know, Tasty Catering's picnic food is excellent.
Oh, yeah, I know. We had them for our holiday party.
Today, they're bringing out the Make Your Own Burger Creation Station. They have everything you can think of, like sriracha, blue cheese crumbles, bacon, sautéed mushrooms, and caramelized onions. And they serve it straight off the grill, the way a great burger should be.
Okay, maybe there's still hope for today. I just hope I don't spill mustard on this new tie. Good thing I've got my bib.
You have a bib?
You don't?
Tasty Catering's picnic menu has all the delicious summertime food favorites you crave and more. Go to tastycatering.com to peruse mouth-watering picnic menus and start planning your picnic today. tastycatering.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Great text on our little discussion about requiring childcare workers to get college degrees. Text from 708. Let's make mothers and grandmothers get college degrees. Right. It's all about the educational industrial complex and charging fees and having continuing education and erecting barriers and protecting phony baloney colleges and all of that.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
There'll be excitement at the G-Spot today. And we'll have it in studio at 8:38.
But first, let's go to the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
49 degrees. And we're watching developments in Russia this morning. Russian President Vladimir Putin says terrorism is not being ruled out following today's deadly explosions on the subway system in St. Petersburg, where at least 10 are dead and dozens more injured. Police in Dubai say they've arrested a group of hackers that allegedly compromised the email accounts of White House officials. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is hoping a full Senate will vote to confirm Supreme Court nominee Neil Gorsuch by the end of the week. Today, the Judiciary Committee is expected to advance that nomination. The governor of Louisiana says a series of dangerous thunderstorms threatens the South and still poses a risk after a woman and her 3-year-old daughter died when their mobile home was flipped over yesterday.
This is a very serious weather event, and it deserves all of our attention, and that we need to make sure that we're not just casual about it, but that we're paying attention, that we heed warnings.
At least 2 were killed in Breaux Bridge, Louisiana. They're in mourning today in Columbia after a mudslide left more than 250 dead. 2 are dead and 4 are recovering from gunshots on the city's west side. It happened in the middle of the day yesterday. Police say more arrests are planned in the sexual assault of a 15-year-old girl live-streamed over Facebook. Chicago police arrested a 14-year-old boy for his part in that attack. And an actor who's known for his quirky dad roles in the movie Mean Girls, the ABC sitcom The Middle, will get the Top Alumni Award from Bradley University. Neil Flynn graduated from the Peoria University in 1982. He's on the school's speech team for 4 years. Bradley officials say he'll receive the Distinguished Alumni Award from the American Forensic Association National Individual Events Tournament on Monday. The ceremony coincides with the AFA tournament. It's drawing 1,000 college kids from dozens of schools across the U.S. Flynn has also appeared in a number of TV series, including Scrubs, my favorite, and Boston Public. Cardinals over the Cubs in the lid lifter on the prime time baseball season. 4-3 Cardinals over the Cubs last night, while this afternoon the White Sox opened the regular baseball season against the Tigers. Jose Quintana ready to throw out the first pitch. The news service of Westin Hotels and Resorts. At Westin Hotels and Resorts, they offer a menu of delicious superfoods. Why? Well, it's not because they give you an actual superpower. It's so you can rise above the travel disruptions and stay in control of your well-being. Eat well with the Superfoods RX menu at Westin. Let's rise. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher has heard enough about Russia.
Once more, I ask the never-ending question, the question that's never been answered for me. Hey, give me even a hypothetical as to how Russia impacted the outcome of our election. I am so sick of talking about whether Russia did or didn't impact the outcome of our election. I can't see straight.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Start your day on the right track and take Metra. Metra's 95% on-time dependability helps you get where you're going on time, no matter what's happening on the roads. Visit metrorail.com.
When you think about spring, what comes to mind? Baseball, tulips, spring cleaning? How about cleaning up your home? Hi, Amy Jacobson here to tell you about our good friends at CertaPro Painters. Spring has arrived, and it's a great time to focus on your exterior painting. Don't deny how ugly it is. You know, the chipping, peeling, eyesore of a front porch. So do what I did and call CertaPro Painters now. 1-800-GO-CERTA or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. They really are the best in the business. They're clean, responsible, talented. They increased our property values. They're such a top-notch company. They've been around for 25 years and counting. So do what I did and experience the CertaPro difference. 1-800-GO-CERTA or CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
8:36. Let's get an update on the roads this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Kennedy, delays start at Austin. We're looking at 55 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 32 from Montrose, 24 in the Express. Outbound 30 minutes to O'Hare. Edens, 20 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. The Eisenhower, an hour, Thorndale to the post office, 44 minutes from Manheim, outbound 47 to Thorndale. The Stevenson is 59 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 34. The Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive is very heavy from Hollywood to North Avenue. Tri-State southbound, stop and go 21 to Everett. Northbound from the Stevenson to 31st and Cermak to North Avenue. Reagan tollway delays are from Myers to the Tri-State, Veterans Memorial, the Army Trail toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Cooler with rain. Some flooding in low-lying areas possible this afternoon, high 52. Plenty of clouds. And a little light rain overnight, low 45. Currently, we have 49 at O'Hare, 46 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 9. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by DraftTech. Contractors, it's construction season. For MEP or BIM, nobody does it like DraftTech. Go to draftingresults.com.
Hey, don't be caught without the facts. Listen to me, Sean Hannity, this afternoon at 2, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, well, today is opening day on the South Side. Home opener for the 2005 World Champion Chicago White Sox. I say that proudly as a season ticket holder.
Still not over that, huh? No, it's
not
something to, no,
what do you
never.
mean?
I'm
Over
kidding. I know. I love it. I was there. I loved it. I love the White Sox.
One of the most dominant postseason performances in Major League Baseball history. Significantly more dominant than last year's Cubs World Series.
Oh, okay.
That's true. There's nothing to laugh at. And we're pleased to be joined by folks from Guaranteed Rate. That's the name of the
Yes.
sponsor in the park this
Which
year.
you've given it a new name. What's it called?
I think they like it too. The G Spot. Is that?
Do
It
I
has a
get?
certain Southside
Come on.
panache, doesn't it? Scott Stephen, he's the president of digital for Guaranteed Rate.
and Linda Marsicano.
Linda. Yeah.
I said Linda Marsicano.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And
Hey,
she's the Vice
close
President of
enough.
Public Relations. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
I don't see Southpaw here.
Yeah,
I was
teasing
promised
him.
Southpaw.
He's in the car.
Because
Yeah.
I've gone all the way up to the top of guaranteed rate to raise this issue and see what kind of influence you have on Reinsdorf. I don't like the fact that Southpaw throws right-handed.
Right, I agree. If you're going to be Southpaw, you got to throw left.
I mean, it's an authenticity issue.
I totally agree.
So today, White Sox, you got Quintana because Chris Sale's gone.
Yeah.
Nice job. And Quintana versus Verlander, who stole Kate Upton's heart away from me. And what else can we expect at the G-Spot today for opening day with you guys taking over the sponsorship?
Well, there's not a lot of guaranteed rate specific activities except walking into a new stadium with Guaranteed Rate Field, which I think is fantastic in its own right. So there doesn't have to be much around that except a good baseball game and some new food and we launched a new program with the White Sox today called Guaranteed Impact.
So is that like stated income mortgages? Or we going back to
that's
that? Is that what we're going to do?
We wish, no, it's a very cool program for kids. The White Sox and Guaranteed Rate came together and said, how do we give back and acknowledge kids that are doing special things in their communities and their schools. So any kid from 8 to 18 can apply to become an impact winner. And it's, again, anyone who's doing something that's moving in their communities and their schools.
You got two of those kids, Amy. You should be at the park today.
Impact players. So what do you do? How do you enroll in the program, and what are some benefits?
Well, you can go to rate.com /impact, and you can nominate a student or any kid from 8 to 18, and again, it's anything that they're doing in their community that is inspiring. They'll inspire other kids to do things that will move their community forward. That is moving their particular community forward. And it's a great program because they can win a suite with 15 friends and family at a home game for the White Sox and then get a shout-out by the announcers and then get their picture up on the Videotron or the video board.
Now, I'm planning on attending today's game with the Legoo father and son team, and I was just wondering if we could get preferred seating close to the umps because they like to interact with the on the on-field regulators of the game.
Yeah, I'm sure we could make a call and see if we could get
They're
that
a bit feisty though.
Yeah,
you remember the Legoo boys? They really get involved in the game.
Yeah, well, we like I said, we'll make a call right after.
That's Southside fun.
It is.
That's how we do it on the South Side.
Earlier in the day, they were at a Cub game, just so you know. And then they took the red line down from
that's
Wrigley
good.
to the cell, and that's when they, got involved in the game, became part of the game
they did.
with his mullet and everything. But you've made some national news over the weekend. I was watching Good Morning America yesterday, and there it was, your creation. I've never seen anything like it. What mac and cheese?
Well,
What do you call it?
the
I've
White
never seen
Sox
anything
rolled
like
out some new foods and some new drinks.
They still have the elotes, right?
I hope so.
Yeah, those are the best.
Yeah, so the new food, they rolled out some new hot dogs, new donuts that you're eating.
Yeah, what are these?
These are good.
Those are
these cinnamon mini donut
Yeah,
things.
they're the South Side mini donuts.
It's like the
are quite
cinnamon
well.
sticks, but just in donut form.
But they have this monstrosity of a mac and cheese and brisket between two toasted pieces of bread, long, like 16 inch
It's
pieces
bigger
of bread.
than, yeah.
Yeah.
It's larger than your
with
head,
maybe
Scott.
10 to 12 onion rings.
Well, that's
on top of it with a skewer.
Well, that's
what more could you want?
No,
right?
I mean that's going to be perfect. That's going to be a big hit with the 250-pound women wear the Scotty Pasednik jerseys.
Scotty Pasednik's going to be there today.
Is he?
Yeah. He was a hero in the 2005.
I'm well
and
aware.
he's there. I don't know what he's doing today, but he'll certainly be there.
So
Was he going to throw out the first pitch, or what do you have for us?
I don't know.
Well, we didn't invite you in the house.
Yeah,
we need some information.
Well, they just told me today when we were there early, doing some other interviews, that he's in the house.
So are we
They
going
didn't tell us what, so maybe it's a surprise.
Are we going to have Chicago White Sox stars of yore there present?
Of who?
Past Chicago White Sox stars.
Well, they're always there. You're always going to have Frank Thomas there. You'll always have
They'll be hurt.
Bill Melton. Bo will probably be there. Konerko. Kittle won't be there.
Oh, no.
But
I'm
Kittle,
not going now.
Kittle will be there. Ron Kittle will be there.
You can catch him at Maggiano's in Schaumburg.
Yeah, you'll see him. Kittle will be there. Kittle will definitely be there. He's always there. Yeah, he's a funny guy. And then they have this beer cave, this craft cave.
Yeah, what is that?
Well, they have like 75 different craft beers now.
Wow. Where's
How
this
cool is
craft
that?
cave?
It's like not only do they have the best
Where's
food.
this man
Now,
cave
listen
where we
to
can
this. This is
find
great.
Gannon?
They have the best stadium name.
Yes.
Right?
Okay,
Guaranteed Rate
sure,
Field.
yes.
Yeah.
By
G-spot,
far.
yeah.
G-spot.
Yeah, well, Guaranteed Rate Field. and they have the best food. They've already been a highly acclaimed best food in baseball.
Yeah, that's true.
And now you can go and get a craft beer.
No, it's pretty good.
You know? And, I
I'm
mean,
not
what-
sure if a craft beer crowd is going to be at Comiskey, but yeah,
And how about the
perhaps.
guarantee?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
guarantee. You're drinking one right now.
Yeah, tell
Oh
us
no,
about
I like this. This is the what is this?
Yeah,
It's Jimmy
Linda,
Bourbon.
wanna
It's Jim
explain?
Beam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? It's cranberry juice.
Yeah.
It's iced tea, and then a splash, a splash of Sprite.
Let me just tell you something.
How about the color though? It's the Guaranteed Rate Red.
Oh, I like that.
It's great.
And it's easy going down like the Guaranteed Rate arrow.
Oh.
See, you're not the only marketing genius around here.
See?
So,
All right?
Linda, how did they come up with this thing? Since you are vice president of marketing,
Yes. So it's a bourbon drink, and I guess they used to have it at the field, and it was really popular, and so we decided to bring it back as the Guarantee and the Guaranteed Rate Club, and it is delicious.
No, I can just give you a little bit of a tip about the clientele. You're talking about guys coming from Shallers, and they're you want you to spill a little bit more Jim Beam in this.
Yeah, we'll put it.
Yeah,
we put
okay.
a little extra in there.
Okay,
It's fine.
All right, I'm just trying to help out. What else I saw on some of the morning shows on television? You had got the whole Pride crew, the White Sox Pride crew, and all that stuff
Yeah.
going on. Any other interesting
Yeah, you know what?
features
We
or
just,
between inning contests and all that?
No, I mean, no. I mean, you're going to see a lot of dance cams and things like that.
Yeah,
and
okay.
different. you're
oh,
gonna see
Dan
the-
loves the kiss cam. Now, where
Oh, yeah, we'll do
section
the
are
kiss
you
one.
in? You could kiss yourself because he's going to be marrying himself later.
That's good.
And they have weddings still, right? At,
Yeah, we got
at
a cool
Guaranteed
one
Rate.
this year. It's the Samba. Not the Samba. What's
Simba?
the lion? Simba.
Yeah.
The Simba cam where you lift your kid.
Oh, that'll
Oh.
end well.
Okay.
Just
All
throw,
right.
throw
After a few guarantees.
Now, hopefully we don't have any drops
Yeah.
because it is going to be the Guaranteed Rate Simba cam. I said
Sure.
Samba so we can dance to. That goes with the dance.
Yeah.
The Samba and the Simba.
Yeah, you make sure your liability insurance
Yeah,
is
so
paid
that's
up.
on family days, and so we're going to try to mix in more fun with our branding on it, and
What
we'll continue to work with the White Sox to make that a fun experience.
do you have any other is there any big post game concerts bringing in let's see what would be popular in
Well,
Bridgeport? Like-
REO Speedwagon
I
is
knew- I was
singing
gonna
the
say
national
REO
an-
Speedwagon.
They're
Oh,
singing
they
the
are?
national
Today?
anthem today. Yes.
So lucky you're going.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And
REO Speedwagon's a good guy.
and we're going to do rock and roll night again
Okay.
on August 11th this
Right,
year.
you guys were there last
You guys
year.
were there last
Yep. That was
year.
good. That was fun.
That was a great
That
time.
was
wasn't it?
that was great.
Yeah.
Can you get Billy Squire? I think he'd
We'll
be a
try.
hit.
And
I'm
when
just
is your-
saying.
Well,
Is
that
he still
was a
around?
great event. I mean, we had 3 bands throughout the stadium.
Mhm.
We played before and after the game, and
That was great. The
It
kids
was
loved
it
it.
was great family fun.
What about
Great
this?
family.
Is a big one. Is your dog days?
Yeah.
That is huge. I
So
mean, that
it's
makes
the most
national
popular
news.
thing in baseball.
So when's that going to be? Because I want to get Bunky ready.
I don't know, but we'll get back to
The
you.
bark
Okay.
at the park.
I
Bark at the
actually
Park,
work
yes,
for
that's
Guaranteed Rate, not the White Sox. But
Yeah, I
but you
understand.
guys ask me
Right.
a lot of White Sox
Well,
questions.
I mean-
good thing I know about them and know about the team because otherwise I would look like an idiot.
Yeah, it'd be like talking
Not
to
look
President
like, sound
Obama
like
about
an
the White
idiot.
Sox.
Right,
exactly. So how about the predicate question then? What was the decision, the calculus for the decision for Guaranteed Rate to form this partnership with the White Sox in the first place?
Like-minded people. I mean, they have similar values to us. They were looking for a Chicago success story. Victor Chidelli is one. He grew this from scratch 17 years ago, and there wasn't a lot of discussion. We had a couple calls. Jerry and Brooks came and visited us at Guaranteed Rate, and we went right to contract. It just made sense. They were looking for similar people to themselves, similar people that grew from the bottom up, and Guaranteed Rate was a perfect choice.
And you are the 8th largest retail mortgage lender in the nation now.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? There's another thing. White Sox is all about family and helping and giving back, and so are we. And for example, last week we announced we have a Guaranteed Rate Foundation, and we announced that we opened that up to the White Sox family. And we really look at the White Sox fans, the White Sox employees as our family, and all the communities associated with them can participate in the Guaranteed Rate Foundation, which is a foundation that will help people in need when they need to get back up on their feet. And it's 100% of the awards go to, or the donations go to people. guaranteed rate covers
The
all of the cost
administrative costs.
associated,
Yeah.
all the costs associated
Great.
with. So
That's great.
all the donations go to people in need, and we extended that to the White Sox. And we're just like-minded people with similar values, and they're easy to work with, and we're easy to work with, and we're fun, and they're fun, and we expect the ballpark to be funner as more fun, I should say. As
I like
as,
funner.
Yeah, I like funner.
That's
Why
both.
not? It's good.
very straight
It's good
of
for
you.
yeah.
That's,
good for-
that's so White Sox fans
I
can
know, right?
understand him.
I correct myself, but as a result of the partnership, we think there'll be more people at the guaranteed rate field, and as the White Sox continue to improve, we think we're going to have, be so proud to have our name on that stadium.
So since you know something about the Sox, how many games are they going to win this year?
Oh gosh, you can't.
Come on, just say it.
About 75.
Oh,
boy.
Dan, what do you think?
I'm canceling my season ticket.
We stop.
No, I'm just kidding.
They're in a rebuilding process.
I know, but here's the thing. When you think the White Sox are going to be mediocre, that's when they surprise you.
Oh, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
So that's what I'm thinking this year. And when you think the Cubs are going to be good, that's when they surprise you. So I'm looking for surprises going in both
But the White
directions
Sox
this
got a
year.
heck of a good manager to develop young talent, and they got a lot of great talent in the spring meetings. So it's really looking for a real comeback.
All right. Scott Stephen, President of Digital for Guaranteed Rate, and Linda Marsicano, Vice President of Public Relations
Enjoy
for
those drinks.
Guaranteed Rate. Thanks for the drinks. Thanks
Thank
for the
you.
donuts. And thanks for sharing a little bit about what the 2017 White Sox have in store. Appreciate it.
A lot of fun. Thank you.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gavalis, Joshi, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
Hey, are you thinking about the IRS right now? Man, if the IRS is coming after you, your IRS problem is there day and night. You need help to fight the IRS. I recommend you call my very good friend, Attorney Stephen Leahy of Open Tax Resolutions. Hey, he's got a special offer going on right now. If you're not certain about your position with the IRS, he will pull your personal IRS transcripts and find out exactly where you stand for free. Find out where you stand. If you owe back taxes, if you have unfiled returns. Hey, if you're afraid of the IRS, call my friend Steve Leahy now. 312-664-6649. Steve's the host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard every Sunday at 5 right here on AM 560. He's also a really good friend of mine, and I don't know of anybody better in dealing with the IRS. Call him now. Steve Leahy, 312-664-6649. That's 312-664-6649.
Scoundrels are not exclusive to politics. They're smart enough to occupy necessity service industries like the automotive business. As a real estate broker, my car is a lifeline and a total necessity to my business and my family, which is why I had to seek out an honest, truthful auto service provider. For over the past decade, I've put my trust in Craigies Mobile Service Center on Lake Street in Addison. Craigies handles full auto repair on foreign and domestic vehicles. They pride themselves on providing you the best cost-effective auto repair and expert advice. Craigies has full service bays and truck lifts that can service and manage your whole fleet. They also provide priority service for your business and can track each vehicle, alerting you to the repair before you need it, keeping your guys on the road. Since 1959, Craigies Mobile Service Center has thrived through 10 presidential administrations, giving you reputable, dependable, and honest auto repair. Do yourself a favor. Just go into Craigies on Lake Street in Addison. See my guy Vic. He'll set you up. Tell him Sean from Elmwood Park sent you. I approve of this message.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Bob Aument, a founding partner of the law firm of Dassman and Aument and longtime personal customer of Signature Bank. Our firm recently left one of the larger banks to bank with Signature Bank, and it's been a refreshing change. With Signature Bank, we've been able to tailor banking solutions that fit the specific needs of our firm. Beyond that, Signature Bank is responsive, efficient, and timely in meeting those needs. If I have a request, I pick up the phone and talk to Mick O'Rourke, not someone at a phone bank thousands of miles away. Dassman and Aument needed more than what the larger banks offer, and we found that with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Fruits and vegetables are one of the very best, if not the best way to help protect your body from many of the lifestyle diseases plaguing our nation. Eating over 10 servings of fruits and vegetables daily will help build your immune system to over 720% and is the single most important thing you can do for your health, along with diet and exercise. Why are fruits and vegetables such a powerful health consideration? Because they contain tens of thousands of phytonutrients prepared especially by Mother Nature to nourish our body on a cellular level. Dr. Howard successfully formulated and perfected a mix of 31 different fruits and vegetables and scientifically removed the water and air through a proprietary cold vacuum system, reducing them into a super powder which maintains 99.9% of its nutrient value, then packaging them into vegetarian capsules ready for consumption. Here's Dr. Howard.
What does good nutrition not benefit? Can you name anything that good nutrition will not help? It's not a cure-all. The scope of what it can help is so wide because our bodies are really fabulous, amazing chemical laboratories. Everything that functions in your system is a chemical response. Keeping that chemistry in balance and keeping the cells communicating with each other the very best possible way is absolutely the best way to reduce your risk of disease and also help your body help itself even fighting most of these diseases.
Balance of Nature is celebrating its 20th anniversary by providing you the best offer they've ever given. 2 free months of fruits and veggies and free shipping. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
My name is David Hochberg, Vice President Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. I hired a loan officer who worked for the lender who boasts about having low closing costs, and I now have indisputable proof my closing costs are over $1,000 less than my competitors. I am so confident my rates and closing costs are lower than any of the other advertisers on this radio station that I'll make a donation to a charity of your choice if they aren't. When securing a mortgage, you could either work with lenders who constantly talk about low closing costs, or you could work with me, a lender who actually has low closing costs. Then think about all the things you could do with an extra $1,000 when my team originates your loan. I've helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, 4358, NMLS 19186.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
So you're going to join me and the Lagoo Boys at the G-Spot today?
No, I'm going to pass. Thank you. What did one of our texters write about the G-Spot?
Yeah.
I don't mean to put you
Ann
on
B.
the spot.
Davis's bowling ball. When is Bribe Your Alderman night at the old ballpark? That's good. That would be a good thing.
So you've got baseball today, 3:10, and then you have the championship game. And you've got Gonzaga, and I have North Carolina.
Right. It's the godless Tar Heels versus the descendants of St. Aloysius Gonzaga, Jesuit saint. That's right. So, you pick, hey, you want to go with the Tar Heels and risk eternal damnation? You go right ahead.
Well, let me introduce you quickly to Sasha.
By the way, I also have one other thing tonight.
Yes.
I have my Calcutta for the Masters.
Oh.
So I've got the Sox game. I
Uh-huh.
got to go do the Calcutta for the Masters this coming weekend. And then I watch the championship game.
Okay. Well, your championship game, too bad maybe you don't have enough time to change your bracket. But there's a girl, Sasha Anderson, lives in North Carolina,
Her bracket's looking pretty good right now.
Even though my bracket didn't go all the way, my Final Four was correct, and that's all that mattered to me.
Yeah, and her teacher said she's even beating teachers.
I'm shocked because it's like beginner's luck. She's beating out 70 kids and 10 teachers right now.
Yeah.
Just get the kids exposure to more colleges. That was the purpose.
No, the purpose is to get them exposure to gambling.
No, that's
you got to
he's
get
a
them
math
gambling
teacher.
from an early age.
And he just wanted them to learn about other universities.
You learn about
and things.
odds. You learn about gambling.
But
you learn about loss.
Right. And she predicts South Carolina because her mother went to University of South Carolina to be in the
she's
Final
wrong.
Four. But she predicted something monumental. Dan, listen carefully. Who is going to win tonight's game?
I have North Carolina winning the whole thing. Of course, I'm going to go for where I'm from.
Yeah, real deep analysis, you punk kid.
Well, we'll see who
Leave
wins.
gambling to the professionals.
Okay. Thanks so much for making us part of your morning. Thanks to George Hoffman, who's sitting in as our technical director, and Keith Conrad, our executive producer. We're back here tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. Now let's get into the newsroom. Some breaking news from St. Petersburg, Russia. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan will follow up on that story with Fox as there have been explosions in the subway system in St. Petersburg. Chicago Toddlers survives a two-story fall, and the White Sox open up their regular season. WIND Chicago News Time, 9 o'clock.